2024 तक बढ़ाया जाएगा। जैसे आप सभी लोग जानते हैं, देश की सभी राजनीतिक दलों में शायद सबसे ज्यादा लोकतांत्रिक तरीके से चलने वाला दल अगर कोई है तो ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी है। जनसंघ की स्थापना से लेकर आज तक भारतीय जनता पार्टी में हमेशा बूथ से लेकर राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष तक के हमारे चुनाव समय समय पर हमारे संविधान के अनुकूल होते रहे और पूरी लोकतांत्रिक पद्धति से चुनाव के अधिकारियों की नियुक्ति होती है, मतदाता सूची बनती है और फिर चुनाव का शुरुआत होता है। बूथ के बाद मंडल का, मंडल के बाद जिले का, जिले के बाद प्रदेश का और प्रदेश के बाद राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जी का चुनाव और कार्य समिति का चुनाव होता है। परंतु ये वर्ष सदस्यता अभियान का भी वर्ष है और हर साल हम चुनाव के पहले नई सदस्यता।
Akshita Nandgopal joining us on the phone line. Akshita, take us to the key highlights. Amit Shah's briefing, JP Nadda, of course, to lead the BJP's Mission 2024.
That's right, Abba. And Amit Shah there in that news briefing highlighting all the achievements of JP Nadda, but also stressing on the fact that Nadda is going to be leading the party into the 2024 general elections. His original term as BJP president was to end actually right now, but it's been extended. It was to end this year. It's been extended to 2024. He took over as the BJP president in June 2019. So he's seen many, many successful elections as well. That was when he was the BJP working president. And from then, he's played a crucial role in the Bharatiya Janata Party in orchestrating election campaigns, in figuring out election strategies as well. It's in recognition of that the BJP has taken this call of letting JP Nadda to continue as the BJP president till next year. Now, what Amit Shah has also confirmed in that news briefing is that Nadda will continue as the BJP chief till June 2024. So that will be, in fact, a few months after the 2024 elections. 9 states that go into elections this year, Abba, all of that will be fought under the leadership now of JP Nadda by the Bharatiya Janata Party. Of course, also important to highlight here, needless to say, that both Amit Shah, Prime Minister Modi play a huge part in strategizing for elections, in the campaign, being the face of the rallies. But JP Nadda has also become an important core member of the BJP in taking these crucial decisions. Often now, it's this powerful trio that takes the important election political calls as well. So in the National Executive Meet, this was expected that there would be a decision on JP Nadda, and now the confirmation coming in that Nadda will continue to June 2024.
All right. Anything else in terms of anything we can read into over here, Akshita? Of course, there's posturing, the big announcement coming in as was expected. But, it's such a high-level meet and it's going to be on, for a while yet. Anything else that we can read into here in terms of the strategy going ahead now for the next year?
There will be questions about when really the BJP will have an election, so to say, an internal party election, and when we could see a change of guard and who it could perhaps be, because right now there's a lot of talk of a lot of senior leaders also being groomed for the role. But it looks like the BJP has kind of decided that the current election formula and the success that they've been tasting, Abba, is something that they will carry forward as well. And Amit Shah has highlighted exactly that when he makes comments like, JP Nadda has brought vibrancy to the Bharatiya Janata Party. He's highlighting the successes that the BJP has in fact tasted in the last few years under JP Nadda's leadership. Important to also highlight here that the decision to actually extend JP Nadda's tenure was endorsed by Rajnath Singh. But remember, the JP Nadda had assumed office on 20th January 2020. And even then, when the announcement was made, there were a lot of question marks about who would be Amit Shah's successor. So, important messaging by the BJP on that front, that the predecessor, essentially, who JP Nadda succeeded, Amit Shah is the one today holding that press conference and highlighting not just JP Nadda's achievements, but also talking about how in the the road ahead, JP Nadda's role is so very crucial in taking things forward for the party. 9 assembly elections. So while we talk about 2024, Abha, this year too is extremely crucial for the BJP. Shah highlighted that. He said that we've got several points that we want to focus on. The south of India, for example, where this year you're going to see 2 big elections in Telangana and Karnataka. So he's saying that's something that we want to really focus on and create some sort of driver there, create a change, ensure that we kind of work on the focus that we have in some of these southern states and build on that. So that's going to be a clear focus point. It's been discussed in the 2-day National Executive Meet as well. But the fact that the BJP has decided to stick to the same formula itself shows that they believe that this is a success formula, that this is a mantra that's worked for them in the last few years. Of course, as Amit Shah highlighted, the Gujarat election, the most recent one, was an indication of that. But they've said that, look, till 2024, we're not going to change anything much. We're going to stick by this formula. We'll see really how this goes forward for the BJP, whether this decision and this strategy of the BJP actually pays off in the 9 states that go to polls this year, or for that matter in 2024. But the message is clear. They're not willing to shake up things just yet. They're not willing to change things just yet. They know how important it is, because you change a leader, you change the face of the party, Abba. You have to establish the person before the general election. And while it seems like there's a whole lot of time for the party to actually go ahead and do that from the grassroots level, takes a lot of work. And it's recognizing that perhaps the BJP has decided to stick with JP Nadda and continue this formula of JP Nadda, Amit Shah and Prime Minister Modi leading the party when it comes to these election campaigns, strategies and rallies.
All right, Akshita, stay with us. Let's actually listen in to what Amit Shah had to say about JP Nadda's tenure extension.
कई बार भूतकाल में भी इस प्रकार के अलग अलग मौकों के कारण राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष के कार्यकाल को एक्सटेंशन दिया गया। इसी परंपरा का अनुसरण करते हुए श्री जगत प्रकाश नड्डा जी को राष्ट्रीय कार्यकारिणी ने आज सर्वानुमत प्रस्ताव किया है। श्री राजनाथ सिंह जी ने इस प्रस्ताव को रखा और सभी भारतीय जनता पार्टी के सदस्यों ने इसको हर्ष ध्वनि के साथ सर्वानुमत से स्वीकार किया है कि जगत प्रकाश नड्डा जी को जून 2024 तक भारतीय जनता पार्टी के अध्यक्ष के रूप में इनके कार्यकाल को बढ़ोतरी की जाए।
All right, Akshita, there we heard it again from Amit Shah. And, clearly, as you also outlined, several reasons, of course, to grant that tenure to JP Nadda, as was largely anticipated and ahead of the 2024 polls. Take us through once again, what perhaps his key role will be here now in driving ahead the BJP's campaign and mission for the main elections.
In the last few years, Abha, since in fact JP Nadda took over as the BJP chief, Amit Shah has highlighted and stressed that the northeast wins that the BJP has enjoyed in the last few years is something that JP Nadda must be credited with. So while he's someone very much who's not as perhaps public or as big a profile you may think as Amit Shah or Prime Minister Narendra Modi for that matter, what's been highlighted today by Amit Shah is the fact that JP Nadda is a very important cog in the wheel, perhaps one of the most crucial as well, and that there are many decisions that he's taken that's really fueled the BJP forward in winning so many of the states that they boast about right now of having of being in power in many of these states. So that, according to Amit Shah, JP Nadda is the architect of, and that's why they've decided to really stick with him right now till the 2024 elections. In fact, he's highlighted the Northeast. He highlighted the recent Gujarat win. And he's also, in fact, Amit Shah has spoken about how before 2024, this year, they're looking to win several of the states. Remember, next in this National Executive Meet, it's 2-day meet, and today is the second day. Anytime now, we're expecting the Prime Minister Narendra Modi will actually be speaking at the meet as well. So there's no doubt that he also will very publicly endorse JP Nadda continuing as the BJP president, and that's a message that's very crucial as well, that will permeate down to every karyakarta of the BJP. That is JP Nadda who remains the party boss. It's JP Nadda who will lead the fight in the 9 assembly elections this year, as well as the 2024 general elections. For the BJP, they are a well-oiled election machine, essentially. For them, strategies, campaigns, rallies, every single headline that emerges during an election season is something that's extremely crucial, is something that they focus on and pinpoint and kind of focus on all the nitty-gritties in the election season. So JP
All right,
Nadda
Akshita, we'll leave it there for now. Let me also go across to Aishwarya Paliwal, who's joining in as well. And Aishwarya, we are of course listening in to Amit Shah's big announcement. You were actually on ground yesterday as as we were kicking off the grand road show, and now that clarity coming in, JP Nadda's tenure is extended for a year all the way till 2024.
Well, it is very, very important because they would want that there should be one person who takes the party into the fight in 2024. And this is what a lot of people were also talking about. We also have seen how there are huge cutouts, across the national capital of JP Nadda alongside Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So that too was a signal that perhaps he will get an extension. And that is what has happened. And now he has got the extension by 1 year, which means in all likelihood, he will be the BJP chief for the big 2024 elections, and the strategy will also be decided. We are expecting the PM to speak at about 5:30 p.m. He will speak with the people of the party and also make sure that there is a roadmap which is laid ahead, not just for the elections that will take place this year, but also for the crucial 2024 elections. All the road work, all the spade work will be done today. And what needs to be done? What are those schemes that they will be coming up with? All those things will be discussed, and then the implementation in a true BJP style will begin from tomorrow itself.
All right. So, this is, of course, a two-day meet here, and that big announcement coming in, right at the cusp of it. Aishwarya, we kicked this off yesterday afternoon, and today we're getting the big announcement regarding JP Nadda. How much more focus or clarity are we going to see with regards to the campaign? Everyone's really talking about Karnataka. You've been on ground. A lot of heavy hitters that are attending and who are possibly, of course, coming in and out of that big meet. Any other indications really of some of the other major announcements that we may see through this big strategy meet?
Well, we will see, what exactly will happen. We will get to know in the next press conference that will take place in about an hour. That is when the top leaders will come out and speak with the media and tell them what exactly has been decided. Now, why this is so crucial is because it is being held now. And also, we have a lot of state elections which will take place. So all the things that need to be done, there are some things which will be very specific to a certain state. Those things will also be looked at. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also make sure he tells the party and he also tells all the leaders of what BJP stands for, what are those schemes, what are the slogans on which they will be fighting, not just the elections this year, but also the big 2024 elections. What are the schemes, who are the people that they need to speak with? All those things will be decided and then the work will start. This also is a signal to the opposition parties that Bharatiya Janata Party is ready for the big fight. This, Abha, let me tell you, is the bugle for 2024. Back to you.
Okay, what will be the most immediate challenges for JP Nadda, Aishwarya?
Winning all the elections, that is something that we have seen JP Nadda speak about. He said that the aim is to win all the big state elections. That is something that he will have to focus on. They will also have to make sure that they look at what's happening with regards to Rahul Gandhi, because the party understands the kind of crowd that was there for Rahul Gandhi. That is also something that a lot of leaders are talking about. So all those things will be looked into. How will the economy function? How will they make sure that India retains the spot that it has at the moment? These things will be looked into, and especially the focus will be on those who are poor. How to benefit the poor, how to benefit the middle class is something.
Aishwarya, hold on for one moment. Let's also come back to that. Let's listen in again to Amit Shah and some of his address just a few moments ago. Listen in.
कई बार भूतकाल में भी इस प्रकार के अलग अलग मौकों के कारण राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष के कार्यकाल को एक्सटेंशन दिया गया। इसी परंपरा का अनुसरण करते हुए श्री जगत प्रकाश नड्डा जी को राष्ट्रीय कार्यकारिणी ने आज सर्वानुमत प्रस्ताव किया है। श्री राजनाथ सिंह जी ने इस प्रस्ताव को रखा और सभी भारतीय जनता पार्टी के सदस्यों ने इसको हर्ष ध्वनि के साथ सर्वानुमत से स्वीकार किया है कि जगत प्रकाश नड्डा जी को जून 2024 तक भारतीय जनता पार्टी के अध्यक्ष के रूप में इनके कार्यकाल को बढ़ोतरी की जाए। अभी भारतीय जनता पार्टी की राष्ट्रीय कार्य समिति ने सर्वानुमत से एक फैसला लिया है कि श्री जगत प्रकाश नड्डा जी का कार्यकाल जून 2024 तक बढ़ाया जाएगा।
Okay, Aishwarya, let's also talk about, what really happened with that meeting with the Prime Minister and BSY. They chatted yesterday for 15 minutes. Do you think that perhaps the, JP Nadda can also play a role in ironing out those differences between BSY and, Bamai, and that could really make a difference in their campaign, because this is going to be a really important state for BJP going forward?
Karnataka obviously is something that the Bharatiya Janata Party will have to look at. The Prime Minister was there a few days ago. BSY was not invited in the function, so which is why there were a lot of speculations. A lot of people were saying that he, a lot of people in the Bharatiya Janata Party do not think he is capable of, running the ship, of being the captain going forward for the big elections. Now the personal conversation that PM had with him yesterday obviously pointing towards the fact that the party understands that they need to do a lot of things and not a lot of wrinkles need to be ironed out before the big elections, which will take place April end. So all these things is also something which they need to look at, and they need to make sure the way in which they have won the last 3-4 state elections, the same momentum needs to continue, and it not just needs to continue for 2023, the same momentum needs to continue for 2024. So JP Nadda obviously has a lot at stake, and he is the BJP chief now, so he will have to look at everything and make sure that the BJP comes out victorious. Also, what a lot of people, especially leaders, are expecting is for the party to get more than 350 seats on its own. So that is also something, that the party will be looking at. The big budget will come on the 1st. That is also something that they will speak about, what needs to be given out to the people. That is something that Prime Minister has also spoken about. The FM was here in the meeting for the next 2 days. So some of the economics also is something which was being discussed with the people and what needs to be done.
Right. So Aishwarya, does it look like as we head towards 2024, it's really going to be Modi versus the rest? I mean, is that really how one should be looking at this?
Well, definitely, that is what even the BJP would try to do, that they would want to make this Prime Minister Narendra Modi versus anyone who stakes claim. So that is how this will be. They would want to make sure that they have a lot of weapons, and they would be using them all across, making sure that they tell the people everything that has been done over the past 8 years by the Prime Minister and the BJP.
All right, that's the latest coming in from the big strategy meet that the BJP has taking place in the capital, announcing the extension of JP Nadda's tenure. Amit Shah himself making that address and announcing the extension there. And remember, this is all in the aim of making sure things are seamless as we count down to 2024. The other major topic of interest, of course, is what's going to be happening in Karnataka. The Prime Minister himself spending 15 minutes there with B.S. Yediyurappa yesterday, trying to placate him and saying that it was a misunderstanding and he had not been snubbed by his own party colleagues in the state. This is, of course, with reference to a series of incidences. So addressing that as well. Will that make a difference? In terms of what really happens next in Karnataka, that remains to be seen. So those are a couple of the key takeaways so far from this big strategy meet that is taking place in the capital. Let's also go across to Aishwarya and ask her what else is expected at the BJP National Executive today. Aishwarya, you mentioned, of course, the press conference. All eyes will be on the Prime Minister's address. When exactly is that scheduled? And is that going to be at the culmination of the big strategy meet? What can we expect?
Well, first of all, Abha, let me clarify. It is not something that the Prime Minister will do in the open. This will be a closed door address that the PM will have. He will be speaking with the leaders, and that will be the end of the 2-day executive meet that is taking place. The Prime Minister will definitely lay out what needs to be done by leaders, what needs what leaders need to do, how they need to reach out to the people is also something that needs to be done, and how to make sure whatever has happened over the past 8 years, how to highlight that also is something that all the leaders will have to make sure. The Bharatiya Janata Party at the moment is trying to make sure that the common man understands what the PM and the Bharatiya Janata Party has done for them. Making sure all those things reach the people will be the focus going forward in the next 1 year. And then that will be, something that will build for the big 2024 elections. Let me also tell you, the big Ram temple is also something that has been talked about. What needs to be done, how people need to understand the temple was built. All those things is also, from what we understand, Abba, is being discussed. And to make sure people understand the importance of the party, the leaders in the making of the Ram temple is also something which Prime Minister Narendra Modi is likely to focus on when he speaks with the leaders at about 5 o'clock. That's what we are understanding at the moment.
All right, so of course we'll be on it here in India today. Let's listen in, however, to a few more excerpts of Amit Shah's address just a little while ago.
उनकी राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्षता में ही हमने बिहार में सबसे ज्यादा स्ट्राइक रेट प्राप्त किया। महाराष्ट्र में भी एनडीए को गिन लें तो हम फिर से चुन कर आए। हरियाणा में भी हमारी सरकार बनी। इसके बाद उत्तर प्रदेश, उत्तराखंड, मणिपुर, आसाम, गुजरात, इस सब जगह भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने एक बहुत बड़ी सफलता हासिल की है। गुजरात के अंदर 156 सीटों के साथ गुजरात ने चुनाव के सभी रिकॉर्ड तोड़ते हुए 53% मत और 156 सीटों के साथ हमने प्रचंड विजय हासिल किया। मोदी जी का जो करिश्माई नेतृत्व है, जो लोकप्रियता है, वो लोकप्रियता को मत में परिवर्तित करने में और मत को मतदान मथक तक पहुंचाने में नड्डा जी का नेतृत्व में संगठन का बहुत बड़ा योगदान रहा है।
All right, Aishwarya, just to recap for those of our viewers that have just tuned in, we're of course tracking JP Nadda's extension and looking at what else can be expected from the strategy meet as we await the PM's address at 5 p.m. today. Well, as you said, we're not sure if he will directly address, but we are waiting some kind of a formal press conference in a short while. We were talking about the main takeaways or significant strategies or things to focus on moving ahead towards 2024, and what really will be JP Nadda's first task as he looks to continue the BJP's mission for 2024.
One of the things which also the Prime Minister and all the leaders will be looking at is the economics, because that is something that Rahul Gandhi has been talking about. Even today he's made a statement about the fact that almost 1% of our country has 40% of all the things. So definitely, Rahul Gandhi has been talking about the gap that is increasing day by day. So that is something that the Bharatiya Janata Party will now have to look into. So that's something which we will see the Prime Minister talk about what has been done so far, what will be done in the next 1.5 years. All these are the things that we will see the Prime Minister speak, and also a definitive plan in place is something that will come out in the evening, and then we will see all the leaders, all the top BJP leaders working on this format and then going ahead and implementing all that the Prime Minister and the top leaders say.
Okay. Let's also bring in Rahul Gautam, who's also been tracking this story. Rahul, you've also been live on ground since the meet kicked off yesterday, and the first big address coming in from Amit Shah there. Just take us through some of the key highlights so far.
Well, it seems that the BJP does not want to upset the winning team that they've been keeping for past 3 years. Therefore, it has been decided that 1 year extension has been given to BJP President JP Nadda. In fact, while making this announcement, Home Minister Mr. Amit Shah said that under the leadership of JP Nadda, the BJP has been winning elections after election, and the winning percentage has been quite high under his leadership. Therefore, the entire top leadership, and in fact the entire organization had decided that an 1 year extension would be given to Mr. JP Nadda, which essentially means that he's going to be president till the Lok Sabha polls are going to get over. So obviously it seems that the BJP has sounded the poll bugle, and they are leaving no stones unturned to ensure that the juggernaut of BJP remains intact, and that there is no match for this leadership. And therefore you can say that this extension has been given to Mr. Nadda only to ensure that the winning team does not get disturbed at this point of time.
Right. Thanks for that, Rahul Gautam, and thanks Aishwarya for taking us through all the latest there. Now, amid rumours of senior BJP leader Yediyurappa being snubbed by party leaders, Prime Minister Modi has spoken to Yediyurappa, clearing all the air around him being sidelined by his own party colleagues in the state. Prime Minister met former Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa and the BJP executive separately and spoke for 15 minutes, focusing on Karnataka Assembly elections. The Prime Minister stressing on focusing maximum publicity and urged state government to amplify state programs. Now, the meet comes days after Yediyurappa wasn't invited to the 26th National Youth Festival in Hubballi, which was inaugurated by Prime Minister Modi. Let's take a very quick break. We'll be back in just a moment.
You are watching India Today.
It's 2023, and India remains the sole shining star in the global economy. So what lies ahead as the Modi government prepares its last full budget before the 2024 general elections? Join the biggest names in business journalism, decoding the jargon with the biggest newsmakers. From the most credible, in-depth analysis of Budget 2023, tune in for Modinomics 2023 through the month. Only on India Today and Business Today Television, gold standard of business journalism.
Experience in writing the book must be very extensive, because it was an extensive process. What was your experience while you were writing and researching about this book?
Right. Thank you so much. We started our vaccination on 16th of January 2021, so we are now nearing 2 years of that process. This book essentially covers the vaccine journey of India. It talks about not just the vaccination, the administration process, but also how the vaccines were researched, developed, what roles different parties played, like the government or the industry. We also spoke about the bottlenecks which we overcame. How did we use the technology, like COVID, for example? How did we have the communication strategy? So this book covers the whole gamut, and it was a great experience writing this, because it's a story of our national achievement. We bring forward what India has collectively achieved through these 2 years, and it's a very positive story about an Indian milestone.
When this entire process was happening, we really saw a lot of internal criticism. COVID was not working for a day. There was criticism. There were criticism about decisions being taken. What does your book detail about how the decisions were being taken when such criticism was probably the driving factor in that backdrop?
Right. The criticism were easy to have because it's such a complex process, and there was no playbook to handle this crisis. The decisions had to be made with limited information and also evolving situation, because the virus itself was mutating. They were, of course, like when PM Modi spoke about this crisis, he always spoke about lives and saving lives and livelihoods. So you had to take a call where you cannot shut down everything infinitely, and also you have to also save lives at the same time. So how do you balance the two objectives? And hence, while what looked very difficult in short term, like, how do we handle the crisis? How do we make the vaccines? The fact is, 2 years, if you look back in the hindsight, we actually did a pretty good job in terms of all aspects of the response, be it the health aspect, be it the financial management aspect, be it saving the economy. So again, the book really spoke to people who were involved in these decisions, and we bring that perspective as to how those decisions were made.
You are watching India Today.
Welcome back. The Delhi LG versus Chief Minister dangle is only escalating. Arvind Kejriwal today breathing fire against LG Vinay Saxena in the Delhi Assembly. Kejriwal's attack came a day after he led a protest to the Lieutenant Governor's office against alleged interferences in the AAP government's functioning. The Delhi Chief Minister said that LG VK Saxena should not behave like a headmaster checking students' homework, and that Delhi would not tolerate dictatorship. The LG office has rejected Kejriwal's accusations, calling them mischievous and motivated.
अगर हम अपने बच्चों को, गरीबों के बच्चों को अच्छी शिक्षा देना चाहते हैं, अपने बच्चों को अच्छी शिक्षा देना चाहते हैं, तो तुम रोकने वाले कौन होते हो? ये एक फ्यूडल माइंडसेट है. ये कई सौ साल पुराने जो हमारे देश में फ्यूडल माइंडसेट है ना, कि गरीबों को अच्छी शिक्षा, इस जात के लोगों को, उस जात के लोगों को अच्छी शिक्षा नहीं मिलनी चाहिए. इंडिया में करा लो ट्रेनिंग, ये एलजी साहब की नोटिंग है, इंडिया में करा लो ट्रेनिंग. अरे क्यों करा ले इंडिया में ट्रेनिंग? हम कम है किसी से? गरीबों के बच्चे कम है किसी से? गरीबों के बच्चे हैं तो इंटेलिजेंट नहीं है क्या? क्यों करा ले? हम तो अपने बच्चों को फिनलैंड भेजेंगे. कौन है एलजी? कहां से आ गया एलजी? किस बात का एलजी? कौन एलजी? कौन लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर? हमारे सर पे बैठ गया के लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर. अब वो तय करेंगे कि हम अपने बच्चों को कहां पढ़ाएंगे.
See, each and every lieutenant governor, he has a problem. Confrontation has always been there. Whether it's Najib Jung, whether it's Anil Bajalji, now VK Saxena ji. He should understand, he should be abiding by what the Constitution says. And the Constitution clearly says, under Section 239AA, the custodian of Delhi, he should understand Delhi is not a state. Custodian of Delhi is Lieutenant Governor. As usual, he's a habit of doing a confrontation with each and Lieutenant Governor. He कहते हैं ना खाता ना बही जो केजरीवाल कहे वही सही. He is updating that policy. He should understand. He should be abiding what the Constitution says.
All right, Akshay is also joining us live from Delhi. Akshay, this is clearly accelerating the war of words. We saw this, yesterday with the protest, today further attack coming in, which has been largely disputed. So take us through, the back and forth that's ensued here and the kind of allegations that are coming in.
Well, while there has been a confrontation, while there has been a tussle between the Lieutenant Governor and the elected government of the national capital in past as well, what we are seeing right now is an escalation. Clearly, after the Aam Aadmi Party government came to power after defeating the Congress and BJP 8 years back, this has been the trend where the Lieutenant Governor has tried to exert his or her authority, and the Delhi government has been trying to assert their authority. And now we saw that either it was Najib Jung or the other Lieutenant Governors in the national capital. There has always been some issue or the other where the Lieutenant Governor's office and the Delhi government has been there have been some sort of altercation. But what we are seeing right now is unprecedented, clearly, and the kind of language that today Delhi Chief Minister has used against the Lieutenant Governor, that also is unprecedented. Because earlier, while there has been a tussle, there used to be a decorum as far as the language was concerned. But now we have seen that the Delhi Chief Minister in the Assembly has clearly sidelined the role of a Lieutenant Governor in the national capital and the governance. And clearly, the reason behind this recent escalation is the MCD elections and the way Lieutenant Governor has in fact chosen, or rather named the 10 aldermen who will be very crucial as far as the election of mayor and the standing committee's chairman is concerned, because that is going to be extremely important for the Aam Aadmi Party and for the Bharatiya Janata Party as well. And the allegations are clearly coming in from the Aam Aadmi Party that the Lieutenant Governor, though he is elected, though he is not an elected representative of the governor, he is an appointed representative and a representative of the central government. He is working at the behest of the BJP. So clearly, this entire tussle is taking now a political turn.
All right. Thank you for that, Akshay. All right, ahead of Congress Yatra in Jammu and Kashmir, big security advisory for Rahul Gandhi. He's been advised to not walk in certain areas on his Yatra route in Jammu and Kashmir. Rahul has also been advised to travel by car in vulnerable areas across the valley. The advisory came hours after there was an alleged security breach in Hoshirpur. As you can see there on your screens, a man from the crowd comes out and manages to get to Rahul Gandhi. The man flings himself on Rahul until Congress leader Amrinder Singh Raja, who is standing next to Rahul, grabs and pushes away the man. Congress has played down the incident, however, claiming that it wasn't a security breach and was just a fan trying to hug Rahul. This incident comes weeks after Congress alleged that Rahul Gandhi wasn't provided adequate security in Delhi and released a video showing people mobbing Rahul while he was passing by Red Fort.
What lapse was there today? No, someone came to hug me. I don't know why you're calling that a lapse. I think the person was, he was checked by the security people. He was a bit overexcited. It's not a problem. It happens quite often.
किसी प्रकार की कोई सुरक्षा में चूक नहीं हुई है. राहुल जी जो बाहर जाते जो लोग होते हैं वो कहते हैं कि राहुल जी तो वो मिलना चाहते हैं. Then sometimes Rahul Gandhi says कि come आ जाओ. तो जब वो कहते हैं आ जाओ तो फिर उनकी चेकिंग होके जब अंदर आया बंदा, ही वाज सो एक्साइटेड, उन्होंने हक कर लिया. अब भाई हक कर लिया, जब कोई ऐसा करता है तो फिर हम भी उसको पकड़ के, हमें भी लगता है कि हक करना तो भाई ये क्या है. तो फिर ठीक है, बट देयर इज नो सिक्योरिटी ब्रीच. सिक्योरिटी ब्रीच होता है कोई बंदा को गलत काम करने के लिए आया, गलत मंशा से आया, कुछ हार्म पहुंचाने के लिए आया, ऐसा कोई काम.
All right. There you have it, visuals of Rahul Gandhi. He's been on his Bharat Jodo Yatra. Visuals where he was mobbed near Red Fort. That's the Delhi screen that you can see on your left. And then right in Punjab, where someone from the crowd came out in what Congress said was an attempt to hug Rahul, which has also been seen as a security breach. So he has been advised to not walk in certain areas in Jammu and Kashmir and travel in car in those areas. And this is on the back of the Hoshirpur incident. The fact that the man got to Rahul, Rahul saying it's just a fan. Kamaljeet Sandhu joining us. She's been live on the Yatra. Kamaljeet, take us through the incident because, we had Amrinder Singh Raja who was standing next to Rahul, who pushed away the man. Congress also playing it down, saying it was just a fan. We also know that Congress has been saying that Rahul Gandhi wasn't provided adequate security in Delhi. And so it's building up perhaps to the fact that there could be further security required as he continues on his yatra.
Well, we have with us Alka Lamba because she's a senior Congress leader. We'll just talk to her. Ma'am, earlier Congress party itself has blamed Delhi police in particular for not providing adequate security. And now when Rahul Gandhi is here and a breach happens, it's being watered down.
देखिए, ये वो पंजाब धरती है जहां पर बयान सिंह जी ने अपनी शहादत दी. राजीव गांधी जी, इंदिरा गांधी जी, सबकी शहादतें हैं. राहुल गांधी जी यात्रा कन्याकुमारी से कश्मीर तक निकाल रहे हैं. लोगों के बीच में है, भीड़ है, उत्साह है, लोग मिलना चाहते हैं. और जहां तक पंजाब पुलिस की मैं कहूंगी पूरी कोशिश की जा रही है कि किसी तरह की सुरक्षा में कोई सेंध ना हो. एक वीडियो सबके सामने देश भर में देखा, चिंता पैदा हुई कि राहुल जी की सुरक्षा में सेंध हुआ है, पर वो बाद में साफ राहुल जी ने खुद किया कि पुलिस की तरफ से ऐसा कुछ नहीं चूक हुई है और सब ठीक है.
Ma'am, important is that there is another part where you actually now entering Jammu and Kashmir, which is also terror prone and a sensitive state, now a union territory. So do tell us, what are the concerns? Because we've been told that much of the yatra has now been not just on foot but also by vehicle. So what kind of advisory? We've been told that is a very sensitive place, and Congress has been issued advisories regarding that particular part of the way.
देखिए, हमारी पार्टी लीडरशिप के सी वेणुगोपाल जी, वहाँ की प्रभारी हमारी रजनी पाटिल जी, सब लोग गवर्नर से मिले हैं और ये बता दिया है कि ये यात्रा कश्मीर तक ही जाएगी। अगर आप सोचेंगे कि हम पंजाब से हिमाचल से वापस हो जाएं तो वो होगा नहीं, क्योंकि मकसद है कि कश्मीर में जाकर तिरंगा लहराना और यात्रा।
लाल चौक पे तो नहीं थे लहरा?
नहीं, लाल चौक को नहीं, वो कश्मीर है, जम्मू से कश्मीर। मैं वही आपसे कह रही हूँ, और हमारी सब चीजों पे बातचीत हो रही है। अगर मैं आपको फिर बताऊं,
आर देयर सर्टेन पोर्शंस व्हिच हैव बीन लेफ्ट आउट ऑन द एडवाइस?
मेरी बात सुनिएगा, जब हम कहते हैं जम्मू और कश्मीर की बात करते हैं तो भाजपा की सरकार से जवाब मिलता है वहां पर सब कुछ बहुत बढ़िया है, कश्मीरी पंडित वापस बसा दिए गए हैं, आतंकवाद का खात्मा हो चुका है, विकास की तरफ है। लेकिन जब जम्मू कश्मीर के चुनाव की बात आती है, भारत जोड़ो की यात्रा आती है, भाजपा असुरक्षित हो जाती है। हमें मालूम है कश्मीर इस भारत जोड़ो यात्रा का जम्मू और कश्मीर बेसब्री से इंतजार कर रहा है और हमने
भारत जोड़ो यात्रा का इंतजार करा। बट एक छोटा सा टेक्निकल क्वेश्चन है, हैज देयर बीन एन एडवाइजरी व्हिच हैज बीन इशूड व्हिच सेज दैट अ सर्टेन पार्ट हैज टू बी बाय व्हीकल, इट कैन नॉट बी बाय कार, देयर आर सर्टेन पार्ट्स वेयर यू कैन नॉट डू?
मुझे इसके बारे में जानकारी नहीं है, पर बातचीत पूरी चल रही है और मुझे लग रहा है रास्ते खुलेंगे और तिरंगा कश्मीर तक पहुंचेगा।
Well, thank you so much for speaking to us. This is the word that we're getting from the Congress party, and importantly, because Bharat Jodo Yatra is 123 days, 150 to go. So that is where it's going to culminate on the 150th day. But definitely, security has been a major concern in one state. They've been upping the ante against Delhi police, but giving a clean chit to Punjab police, saying no security breach, even though there are not just one but two videos which are really out. But at this point of time, seems the controversy is much more settled. Punjab police happy because they've put in a lot of efforts. Just have a look around here. So much unprecedented security. Rahul Gandhi having tea just outside. So ensuring that there is a multi-layered protection for Rahul Gandhi, and Congress seems to be happy with the arrangements which have been made here.
Thank you for that, Kamaljeet. All right, let's take a very quick break. When we come back, an exclusive ground report now from the holy shrine of Badrinath in Uttarakhand, which is covered in a thick blanket of snow.
You are watching India Today.
Bonhomie on display during Congress's Bharat Jodo Yatra seems to have been short-lived. While Rajasthan is going to elections this year, the infamous infighting within the Congress party has popped up again. Sachin Pilot, an aspirant to replace a defunct Ashok Gehlot as Chief Minister of Rajasthan, has been perennially in waiting. Pinning hope on Sonia, Rahul and Priyanka Gandhi, but his patience seems to be running out. Pilot has now turned into a Yatri minus the beard. From January 16, Pilot will address farmers and youth in a series of public meetings in the Jat Gujjar heartland of Rajasthan. Pilot's move to embark upon a yatra has generated a lot of interest in the Congress circle and outside. While some view it as a pressure tactic, others dubbing it as an ultimatum to the Gandhis. This comes days after Sachin Pilot urged Congress party leadership to take a decision soon on the issue of leadership change in the state.
I think Ashok ji is someone who has vast experience. He's been on many positions in the party and in the government, and today also he is the Chief Minister of Rajasthan. I think it's unbecoming of someone with such experience and with so much of opportunity that the party has given him to make such baseless and false allegations. I think this is not the time for mudslinging. This is the time to work collectively to make sure that the Bharat Jodo Yatra that Rahul Gandhi is leading becomes a success.
Sachin Pilot is a known rebel. Earlier in 2020, Pilot almost brought his own government on the verge of collapse by claiming over 30 Congress MLAs have pledged support to him. But the Gehlot camp is not sitting idle either. Dropping a not-so-subtle hint that he's not handing over the baton anytime soon, Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot is conducting his own Chintan Shivir in the capital city Jaipur for 2 days. Primary focus of the Shivir is to review the progress of schemes and budget announcement. In the past, Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot has targeted such a pilot on several occasions.
7 साल के अंदर एकमात्र राजस्थान हिंदुस्तान के अंदर राज्य होगा जब प्रदेश कांग्रेस कमेटी के अध्यक्ष को बदलने की मांग नहीं करी, ना सीनियर ने ना जूनियर ने। एक छोटी खबर नहीं पड़ी हुई किसी ने कि पायलट साहब को हटाना चाहिए प्रदेश कांग्रेस कमेटी के अध्यक्ष से। हम जानते थे कि निकम्मा है, नाकारा है, कुछ काम नहीं कर रहा है, खाली लोगों को लड़वा रहा है।
The task for the Congress party's high command is now cut out. To not allow Rajasthan to go the Punjab way. Bureau Report, India Today.
You are watching India Today.
Welcome back. North India has been grappling with severe cold wave conditions not seen in recent years. Take a look at some of the top updates from across the country. Delhi continues to shiver as temperatures in the capital dropped to 1.4 degrees. That's the lowest this season. Another cold wave going through the capital. Minimum temperature may dip to 1 degree in the coming few days. Meanwhile, in Kashmir, the temperature dropped below 0 degrees Celsius. Gulmarg regarded the season's coldest night at minus 12.0 degrees Celsius on Monday, as was recorded. Srinagar recorded a low of minus 1.9 degrees Celsius as the valley continues to reel under the dip in mercury. Punjab saw the same. Haryana, Chandigarh, across that entire zone in the past 24 hours, minimum temperatures remain between 1 to 3 degrees Celsius. Biting cold continuing in Kanpur, again bringing down minimum temperature to as low as 3 degrees Celsius. Several trains were delayed to avert danger amid foggy conditions. Cold wave also continuing in many parts of Rajasthan. Normal life is being affected due to dense fog. Mount Abu recorded its lowest minimum temperature at minus 4 degrees Celsius. The holy shrine of Badrinath in Uttarakhand is covered in a thick blanket of snow. The region witnessed heavy snowfall, resulting in a dip in temperature to minus 16 degrees. My colleague Ashutosh Mishra gets you this exclusive ground report from Badrinath Temple.
This is the Badrinath shrine in Uttarakhand's Chamoli. At a height of 3,133 meters. Wrapped in a blanket of snow 2 to 3 inches thick. The temperature has plunged 16 degrees below zero.
You only get to see the images of the holy shrine Badrinath when the kapats are open.
For the first time in Badrinath, the holy pond is frozen. The Indo-Tibetan border police has been deployed to keep vigil around the snowed-in temple.
यात्रा शुरू होने के पहले बद्रीनाथ के इस पूरे प्रांगण में सन्नाटा पसरा हुआ है। यहाँ अगर कुछ दिखती है तो वो है सिर्फ सफेद बर्फ। हालांकि हर साल के मुकाबले लगता है इस बार बर्फबारी काफी कम हुई है। यहाँ 2 से 4 फीट तक बर्फ जमा होती थी, लेकिन इस बार ये महज कुछ इंचों में है। और ठंड का आलम ऐसा है कि ये जो पीछे आगे मंगल द्वार पर एक तालाब है, और ये देख रहे हैं आप जो पूरी छोटा सा तालाब है, इसके पानी की ऊपरी जो परत है वो पूरी तरह से जमकर पपड़ी हो चुकी है।
The entire region remains covered in a thick layer of snow. The sub-zero temperature means even breathing at this high altitude is tough. Badrinath temple is among the 4 shrines that are part of the Char Dham Yatra and is highly revered by Hindu devotees. Devotees not only from India but across the world come to get a glimpse of Badrinath temple. The shrine opens its doors to pilgrims after winter, but with Joshimath, the base camp of Badrinath pilgrims, sinking, it remains to be seen how the government facilitates the Char Dham Yatra this year. With Ashutosh Mishra in Badrinath, Bureau Report, India Today.
You are watching India Today.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi hit the ground. Right before joining the crucial two-day BJP National Executive Meet, the Prime Minister took out a roadshow in the national capital. While the roadshow itself was short, the messaging around it was loud and clear. The BJP is battle-ready for 2024. The hoarding at the venue entrance reflected the BJP's poll plank, Hindutva, Nationalism and Vikas. A series, state elections this year, will set the momentum for the big finale in 2024.
Honorable the party president exhorted all the members of the national executive to be ready with full commitment to ensure that the BJP wins all the 9 assembly polls scheduled for 2023.
The BJP is finalizing its war strategy even as Congress leader Rahul Gandhi is nearing the end of his Kanyakumari to Kashmir Padyatra. The Congress, basking in the Bharat Jodo Yatra's supposed success, called Prime Minister Modi's roadshow a joke.
ये भारत जोड़ो यात्रा का असर है उन पर और आज कुछ 2-3 घंटे के लिए एक छोटा सा रोड शो प्रधानमंत्री ने निकाला है ये दिखाने के लिए कि वो अभी भी लोकप्रिय हैं।
कांग्रेस की हताशा ये बता रही है कि उनके पास और कुछ है ही नहीं। नरेंद्र मोदी जी से तुलना करने के लिए नरेंद्र मोदी जी जैसा सोच होना चाहिए, नरेंद्र मोदी जैसी राष्ट्रभक्ति होनी चाहिए।
While Rahul goes ahead with his yatra, which he says is aimed at uniting the country against hate, his sister Priyanka is canvassing for the Congress in the first big election this year, Karnataka. Fresh from the success in Himachal Pradesh, the Congress leader promised 2,000 rupees per month to each woman head of household if her party wins in Karnataka. Any opposition hope for success in 2024, however, will depend on its unity. So far, they have shown no signs of coming together to take on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The BJP claims 2024 is a done deal for Modi, who is eyeing a consecutive third term. Bureau Report, India Today.
Narendra Modi government versus the Supreme Court once again. Days after the court's critical comments on delay in appointment of judges, Law Minister Kiran Rijiju has written to the Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud. In a letter dated 6 January, sources say Rijiju has sought the presence of government nominees in the Search-cum-Evaluation Committee that will provide inputs on suitable candidates to the collegium. The minister adds that in the case of appointment of High Court judges, nominees of state governments should also be included in the panel. The minister's letter has set off a political showdown, with the opposition attacking the BJP for violating the constitution. Minister Rijiju hit back at the opposition, saying his letter was in accordance with Supreme Court's verdict that struck down the National Judicial Appointments Commission Act. The Supreme Court in November and again in December had pulled up the government for this stand, pointing out that only 2 judges in a separate opinion had given the suggestion for a relook. The clear verdict has been to implement the Memorandum of Procedure finalized in 2017. Meanwhile, over 300 vacancies remain in the High Courts and 5 in the Apex Court itself. The opposition is calling the government's intervention a sinister move.
First and foremost, why this concerted, coordinated, sudden action? That question is not answered by anybody. Why suddenly this thing? It's been years since the NJAC judgment. Nothing has happened about the basic structure for decades. Suddenly, why? This hints at a much larger purpose, a control freak purpose, a imposition, dictatorial approach purpose.
The legal fraternity is also unhappy.
The recent communication which has come in the public domain from the Law Minister doesn't appear to be a well understood of the legal position. Either he has not read the judgment, or he's not understood the judgment, or he's being advised wrongly, because clearly the judgment does not entitle the government to ask for amending the collegium itself.
The collegium safeguards the independence of the judiciary. Now, that was sought to be undone by a constitutional amendment by this government. That constitutional amendment was struck down. This also goes against the theory of separation of powers. Can you imagine the law minister then writing, saying that, on all matters where the government is involved, why don't you please seat us on the bench itself?
The law minister's letter has only escalated the face-off between the judiciary and the executive over appointments. With Anisha Mathur in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us live here on 5 Live on India Today. I'm Akshita Anantagopal, getting you the top story that we're tracking, all the inside details of the BJP National Executive Meet. JP Nadda has been confirmed as the BJP president till June 2024. He's been given an extension, which means essentially he's been given the thumbs up from the party. We're going to be talking about what the BJP strategy is. What are the takeaways from this top-level meet over the next half hour? Here are the headlines first. BJP's big announcement in key election year. JP Nadda's term as BJP president extended till June 2024. Amit Shah endorses Nadda, says party strike rate under the leader has been stellar. United Nations Security Council lists Pakistan-backed terrorist Abdul Rahman Makki as a global terrorist after repeated efforts by China to block listing. Modi government hails UNSC decision. Pakistan Prime Minister's big statement on India. Shehbaz Sharif claims Pakistan has learnt its lesson after 3 wars against India.
Pakistan has learnt its lesson. We had 3 wars with India. 3. And the consequence of those wars, as a result, it only brought more miseries.
Ahead of Congress's Bharat Jodo Yatra in Jammu and Kashmir, big security advisory for Rahul. Rahul advised not to walk in certain areas, also told to use car in vulnerable parts. Day after street march, Kejriwal trains guns on Delhi. Lieutenant Governor in the Delhi Assembly calls him Viceroy and says LG must not behave like a headmaster. Let's begin with breaking news coming in this evening of a mid-air scare that was reported on an Indigo flight. And take this, the Congress now is saying that the co-passenger has claimed it was BJP MP Tejasvi Surya who unlocked the emergency exit door on board. The Congress is now going to town with this. They're asking, did the MP use his good offices to suppress the news? Why didn't this come out earlier? The Congress is saying Tejasvi's actions could have proved costly for co-passengers. So the Congress, they're asking Tejasvi Surya to come clean on exactly what happened here. Sagai Raj is joining us live from Bengaluru with more details on this. Sagai, what exactly happened? What is the co-passenger claim that's got the Congress saying that this was Tejasvi Surya who unlocked the emergency door and led to a delay for all the passengers on board?
The Congress has alleged that the passenger who tried to open the emergency door in one of the flights of Indigos is seen to be BJP MP Tejasvi Surya, and he was heading from Chennai to Trivandrum. And immediately, the airline staff have immediately addressed the issue, and thereafter he was being shifted from that place to another place. One of the co-passengers has also identified that Tejasvi Surya was a passenger who have involved in these kind of malpractice inside the aircraft. And what we also get to learn from a few media reports as well as the allegations from Congress is that one more BJP leader, that is Tamil Nadu State President K. Annamalai, also nominated him. But it was Tejasvi Surya who has allegedly tried to open that particular emergency room.
Sagai, just stay with me. Just stay with me. Let's bring in Priyank Karge of the Congress, who's joining us on this broadcast. Priyank, you had also tweeted on this issue, raising questions of Tejasvi Surya. Is the Congress jumping the gun here? Because this is based on one person's account. Tejasvi hasn't spoken on this. Indigo, DCA, nobody's right now confirmed that it was Tejasvi.
So, we have merely quoted what the news reportings come out, right? It's already in more than 2, the news, the South First as well as the News Minute, where they have very categorically said that it was alleged that Mr. Surya was, and along with Mr. Annamalai, were at the emergency, sitting at the emergency seat. And they have also quoted an eyewitness for the entire scene. Now, my question is very clear. If Indigo also has released a press statement that a passenger has done this kind of mischief over there. So why aren't they naming the passenger? And if such a thing has happened where the passengers have written an apology letter and given it to the airline, why didn't the airline report such a serious lapse of security to the DGCA? And DGCA has now ordered an inquiry, right? So all these things point to what? That it's also very evident that Mr. Surya was on the flight. So
are you alleging that Tejasvi Surya has essentially used his power as a member of parliament of the BJP to kind of suppress this news?
Doesn't it look like that? What is it? If you look at how things have panned out, it looks like he's used his good officers. My only thing is, if he's clean, let him come out and tell. And it is just not some small thing. He's tried to open the emergency exit of an airplane. There are serious ramifications for this. And it's just not him. What about his co-passenger safety? A public representative needs to be aware of what is happening, right? So if he is clean, let him come out and make a statement that I was not on that flight. I have nothing to do with that. I did not write an apology letter. See, there is an eyewitness who has quoted this. And news reports are alleging that he playfully did so.
So let's see what Tejasvi Surya has to say about this. Thanks for the moment, Priyank, for joining us here on India Today. So the Congress questioning Tejasvi Surya and the Bharatiya Janata Party in turn right now over this particular issue. The Congress saying that there is a co-passenger who's leveled the allegation of Tejasvi Surya being the one who opened the emergency door of that plane and created inconvenience as well as problems for the safety of other passengers. We are going to try and reach out to Tejasvi Surya as well for his comment on this. Okay, joining us right now is BT Arsakumar, who is with the DMK. He was reportedly on the flight. Mr. Arsakumar speaks in Tamil, so I will translate for our non-Tamil viewers as well. But let me just finish this conversation first in Tamil. Arsakumar sir, neenga in the flight la irundinga, yaar irundanga in the flight la? Tejasvi Surya Annamalai irundangala?
No, Mr. Annamalai irundharu, mattavanga yaar irundanga enakku theriyadhu. Mr. Annamalai the same flight travel pannaru.
Okay.
Now 18th, my seat number is 18. I am also late to pick the flight. So I am sitting the few minutes. Request all the passengers please to come down because sitting in buses. Some problem is created. Some problem is there in aircraft. After our engineers checking, after give the rights, after only fly the flight. Pilot is not agreeable because the flight is a problem is there. So all the passengers go to inside sitting the buses, 4 buses. I am also one bus. I am sitting 10 members. I think my buses. He give the aircraft same Indigo flight person. Give the snacks. He take snacks. After the 45 minutes, 50 minutes in buses, sitting the buses. After that, some engineers is coming, Sierra police, everything comes around the flight. After I think 50-55 minutes, ready to flight take up ready. Please all the personnel come to inside the aircraft. Announce that airways people. Again we go to the flight.
Sir, the allegation is that along with Annamalai, Tejasvi Surya was there. You're saying you didn't see Tejasvi on board?
I don't know, but my emergency door is somebody's touch emergency door, open the door. I think lose the emergency door. That problems create. That's why we are all the passengers down again the flight.
But did you see who opened the emergency door, sir? Did you see when it happened?
No. Aeros only announced emergency door. Somebody's emergency door touch the emergency door. Emergency door, but not open. I don't showing. I think not open, but touch with the emergency door. I think.
Okay. So someone touched it. It didn't open fully, and that's when everyone was deplaned also. Sir, have you ever met Tejasvi Surya? You know how he looks, yes? And you're saying you didn't see him on board the flight.
Some 2 or 3 persons along with Annamalai come to the flight. Aircraft.
Okay, but you recognize Tejasvi Surya?
Annamalai only I know, but Surya I don't know.
Okay, so you're not sure if it was him?
Yes.
So Annamalai, along with all the others who were accompanying him, did get off the flight along with you, sir?
Same flight I am also going now.
So when you were deplaned, everyone was deboarded together?
3 persons along with Annamalai.
Okay, sir. So you're not sure if it was Tejasvi Surya right now. There is an allegation, and can you confirm for us, sir, when exactly this flight was?
No, I don't know, Mr. Surya.
Okay, no. Can you tell us, sir, when did you take this flight? Because we're hearing it happened a few weeks back in December.
I think 10th December.
Okay, 10th December is when this happened, and soon after that, now at least this information is coming out. Thanks very much, Mr. Arsakumar, for joining us. Mr. Arsakumar was on that flight, and what he's very, very importantly telling us here on India Today is that he did see someone he recognized, which was Tamil Nadu BJP chief Annamalai, and along with Annamalai, there were several others. He says that he didn't know if Tejasvi Surya was there or not. He didn't personally see or can't vouch for whether Tejasvi was on board that flight. He also doesn't know if any of these leaders were actually involved in the incident of the emergency door being opened. He is saying that from what I hear of what happened in that flight, the door wasn't opened, it was merely touched, but that's why because of obviously safety measures, everyone was asked to deplane for the moment. So Sagai Raj is joining us with more details on this. Sagai, do we have any details of how many people on board have actually claimed it was Tejasvi Surya? Because now we have on record one person saying he didn't know if Tejasvi Surya was even on board that flight. He saw Annamalai, he saw 2 to 3 other people with Annamalai, but wasn't sure if it was Tejasvi Surya. Does the DGCA or Indigo have anyone on record? Have they themselves come out with statements on this?
The DGCA have come out with a statement saying that one of the passengers have tried to open the emergency doors, but they have not come up with the names. But the few passengers who doesn't want to reveal their identity have spoken to few media outlets and have clearly verified that it was Tejasvi Surya, and that is the reason Congress is alleging that it is Tejasvi Surya who was the passenger who tried to open the emergency door. Even Priyank Kharge, who spoke to us, has clarified that he has quoted 2 media outlets who have put out the information about Tejasvi Surya, and that is the reason they are alleging that the government has to come out clear on this and give a clarification on all these allegations and reports of media on social media.
Okay, so far no details and no one at this point who's recognized Tejasvi Surya per se. One co-passenger, however, has confirmed it was Tejasvi. And what we've in fact caught from the one person who we spoke to, a DMK spokesperson, he says Annamalai, who is a Tamil Nadu BJP chief, was there along with a few other BJP leaders, and he's not sure if one of them was actually Tejasvi Surya. Has there been any comment that's come in so far from Tejasvi on this entire allegation and what transpired on December 10th, Sagai?
Have not spoken about this particular incident.
Sagai, if you could repeat your answer, we lost you there.
Now, we tried to reach Tejasvi Surya office on the same, but nobody have replied on the same. And what you also get to learn is that Tejasvi Surya has not spoken about this particular incident openly to any media outlet.
Okay, so far Tejasvi Surya hasn't really commented about what's happened, but you can see that political parties are now latching on to this issue. The Congress has already tweeted on this, saying that this is Tejasvi Surya using his might to kind of suppress the news. There's no confirmation right now what happened. Can you tell us, Sagai, about what Indigo has said in their statement? Because they have confirmed that the passenger accidentally opened the emergency door.
Absolutely. According to the investigation which was being done by Indigo internally, has given a press release and stated that one of the passengers who was on that particular flight from Chennai to Trivandrum had tried to open that particular door. And they have also said that the passenger has apologized for that particular incident. And immediately, the staff who were present inside the aircraft had shifted him from that particular emergency seat to a different seat. And thereafter, the engineers and technical team have verified and checked all the exit and entry of that flight. And thereafter, it has taken off from Chennai. But it was delayed just because one of the passengers tried to open the emergency door. It was delayed close to 30 minutes for them to finish all kind of formalities, because whenever these kind of emergency doors get open, there are protocols which has been followed by Indigo aircraft, and that was being duly followed by the aircraft.
More reactions, Sagai, that are coming in. Like I said, this has taken a complete political turn right now. Asaduddin Owaisi has now tweeted, he's added a communal spin to this entire controversy. Owaisi is now hit out at Tejasvi Surya. And let me just read out for you his tweet. He said, and I quote, well, if you have a Sanskari name, it's accidental. If the name is Abdul, then sky is the limit. Please always keep your seatbelts on. This is the comment by Asaduddin Owaisi, again trying to claim that because it was Tejasvi Surya, the culprit has been shielded here, and has also questioned why Indigo has referred to it as an accidental case, saying if you have a Sanskari name, it's accidental. If the name is Abdul, then sky is the limit. Communal turn also now into this controversy, as Asaduddin Owaisi has weighed in with his own view of what's happened right now. And let me just confirm for you right now that we've tried to reach out to Tejasvi Surya's team. We're going to try and get him on record on exactly what happened. Was he involved? Was he on board this flight? What happened? Did he open the emergency exit door as is being claimed by a co-passenger? Indigo, in their statement, haven't named Tejasvi Surya. They haven't named any passenger for that matter. So it remains to be seen. Right now, it's a big question mark on whether Tejasvi did it or not. One passenger on board that plane has alleged that Tejasvi Surya opened the emergency exit, and that's what led to complications. That's what led to the flight being delayed. Everyone had to be deplaned as per the safety measures, the safety protocol that's in place in this case. But the Congress is saying right now that Tejasvi Surya has used his might as a BJP MP to suppress this news, because this incident actually happened on December 10th. Thanks very much, Sagai. We'll continue tracking this story and get you all the reactions. Over to the big political story today. In the BJP National Executive Meet, the party has confirmed that they've extended JP Nadda's tenure as the party chief. His tenure was to end this year, but he will remain as the BJP chief till June 2024. The announcement was made by Home Minister Amit Shah on day 2 of the National Executive Meet of the party that's being held as we speak in the national capital. Nadda's presidency was scheduled to conclude on 20th January this year, so in just 3 days from now. The decision is being seen as part of the BJP strategy for an election year when 9 states go to polls, and keeping in mind also the Lok Sabha election slated for next year. Shah has said that the party has had the highest strike rate under Nadda, who's led the BJP to win key state elections. Amit Shah also highlighted that it was Rajnath Singh who had proposed the extension of JP Nadda. So essentially Rajnath was the endorser.
कई बार भूतकाल में भी इस प्रकार के अलग अलग मौकों के कारण राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष के कार्यकाल को एक्सटेंशन दिया गया। इसी परंपरा का अनुसरण करते हुए श्री जगत प्रकाश नड्डा जी को राष्ट्रीय कार्यकारिणी ने आज सर्वानुमत प्रस्ताव किया है। श्री राजनाथ सिंह जी ने इस प्रस्ताव को रखा और सभी भारतीय जनता पार्टी के सदस्यों ने इसको हर्ष ध्वनि के साथ सर्वानुमत से स्वीकार किया है कि जगत प्रकाश नड्डा जी को जून 2024 तक भारतीय जनता पार्टी के अध्यक्ष के रूप में इनके कार्यकाल को बढ़ोतरी की जाए। अभी भारतीय जनता पार्टी की राष्ट्रीय कार्य समिति ने सर्वानुमत से एक फैसला लिया है कि श्री जगत प्रकाश नड्डा जी का कार्यकाल जून 2024 तक बढ़ाया जाएगा। उनकी राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्षता में ही हमने बिहार में सबसे ज़्यादा स्ट्राइक रेट प्राप्त किया। महाराष्ट्र में भी एनडीए को गिन लें तो हम फिर से चुन कर आए। हरियाणा में भी हमारी सरकार बनी। इसके बाद उत्तर प्रदेश, उत्तराखंड, मणिपुर, आसाम, गुजरात, इस सब जगह भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने एक बहुत बड़ी सफलता हासिल की है। हम तमिलनाडु और दक्षिण के राज्यों में भी, तेलंगाना में भी एक ताकत बनकर धीरे धीरे सैन उभर कर आ रहे हैं।
So those were highlights of the message from Home Minister Amit Shah, where he's also spoken about how they have a lot to achieve this year. 9 state elections as well as the 2024 general elections. And through it all, it's going to be JP Nadda who remains the BJP president. So important decision that's been taken. Home Minister Amit Shah also in that speech has highlighted all of the achievements of JP Nadda, particularly saying that he's had an excellent strike rate, talking about all the elections that he's won, about his Northeast policy as well. So JP Nadda will remain the BJP president till June 2024. And I want to run you through exactly what his achievements are like and his profile as well. How did he become the BJP president, and also all of his achievements since that point? Here's a look at JP Nadda's political profile. So the rise of JP Nadda has been marked by many highs. He was a member of the Himachal Legislative Assembly. This is from 1993 to 2003, and then again was re-elected in 2007 as well. Now, beyond that, in Himachal Pradesh itself, in the state government, he was given a very important role in the cabinet as the Health and Family Welfare Minister. This was back in 1998. So he's been actively involved in Himachal politics from the 1990s. Now, in 2008, he was made the cabinet minister for several other portfolios as well. The Forest Environment Ministry, Science and Technology, all of that was given to him. So he was instrumental and given key portfolios really in the Himachal Pradesh government. In 2012, he was made a member of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Transport, Tourism and Culture. Now, from here, in fact, you can see that he was made a part of several other parliamentary standing committees, like in 2013, when he was part of the Standing Committee on Privileges as well. Now, he was elected to the Rajya Sabha in 2014, and then slowly from Himachal he started having a much bigger role as a national leader. 2014 he was made the Union Minister of Health and Family Welfare, and there too his work was gradually recognized by the BJP, and then in 2019 he was made the working president of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Since then there's been no looking back, because in 2020 he was made the BJP national president, succeeding Amit Shah. And from 2020, his term was to end in 3 days from now, on January 20th. Instead, he will continue as the BJP national president till June 2024. I'm slipping into a short break here on 5 Live. Coming up on the other side, we're focusing on Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's big declaration when he's conceded that we cannot afford to have any more wars with India. Gaurav Sawant getting you all the details on that in just a bit.
You're watching an India Today special broadcast being brought to you from the stunning ski resort of Klosters, Davos.
The 53rd World Economic Forum is back at the snow-clad slopes of Davos. The smartest minds gather to debate the world's biggest challenges: energy crisis, industry headwinds, geopolitical risks, social vulnerabilities. India Today and Business Today are at ground zero to bring you all the action. Catch top corporate tycoons, politicians and intellectuals as they discuss cooperation in a fragmented world. Watch the Davos brainstorm only on India Today and Business Today TV.
Auto Expo, then what is next at Ola? Can we expect more scooters coming up? I know there's a car that's been planned for 26, which of course I'll come to you later on. But could you also give us a sense what are the year plans and the outlook for the EV industry?
So I think, as far as your question goes on Auto Expo, we have our own events, and I know, we host our biannual events where we launch our new products. So that's the platform we use to announce to the world on what we're doing. But this year, I think across multiple things. One is, of course, expanding our product portfolio is one of the focus areas. Second is going to be, as we had mentioned at the end of the year, a very strong focus into core technology and R&D and working on our own cells and cell technology, talent upgradation and across the world and sort of hiring great quality talent is the third objective. Making our supply chains more self-reliant is also one of the core objectives that we have, and that's also the objective that India should have for us to see. So I think we will, while there has been an inflection point in 2022, 2023 will be taking it further in terms of these four areas, and it's so that we can just open the floodgates for EV adoption in the next few years. So I think a lot of work, of course, while it is exciting, a lot of work is pending, and that's what we're going to focus on this year.
Right. You broadly mentioned a plan. Could you give us the growth plans in some numbers or figures or some targets that you have probably set?
I think the only target that we have is that by 2025 we need to is our mission electric, which is 100% vehicles sold EVs, and we will have the dominant market share of that. But nothing specific in terms of numbers. I think the year is just ended, so yeah, let's just celebrate what's been there in December. No specific numbers, but a lot of products. Of course, 6 products by 2027 is something which we will be launching across multiple categories. That is something which we are clearly excited about and working on. So I think more focus is on products, R&D, talent, supply chain. I think numbers are a result of it, and we have seen that in the last 4 months.
The Ukrainians seem to be pushing back against the Russian army, but we're also seeing the Russian army now being armed with Iranian drones, which seem to be having a devastating effect, and the level of war crime seems to be increasing. What's your sense of how the Russia-Ukraine war plays out through this year?
I mean, the smart money, I think, is on things continuing as they are in a rough stalemate. What is very clear to me is that the Ukrainians are not going to give up. They've gone all in on losing whatever they have to lose to win the war. They have so far rejected any notion of peace talks, in part because they feel like they're in a position of strength, they have momentum. So that's their side of things. On their end, they need Western supplies of weapons, more advanced weapons. Recently, they've just gotten a delivery of tanks from the UK. They've asked for more higher level artillery, stuff rockets that reach further into Russian territory. That's the kind of stuff they want moving forward. On Russia's end, who knows? I mean, we're essentially talking about the mindset of one person and what he wants out of this. At some point, you've got to wonder that he thinks that he's gotten something that he can declare as a victory, that he can make seem as a victory. We don't know what that is exactly. We've begun to hear rumblings that the Russians might want to talk at some point, but this only works if both sides want to talk. So we need the Russians to need it as much as the Ukrainians do. We're not there yet.
We're also seeing NATO countries offer arms to Ukraine, which was so far off the table. Increasingly, tanks being given, which earlier was seen as NATO being dragged more deep into the conflict, which NATO was trying to avoid. How high, according to you, is the probability of the conflict escalating this year?
It's fairly high. It's as high as it was even last year. I mean, there's still the imminent risk of Russians using a tactical nuclear device, of them feeling like their backs to the wall in a certain part of territory that they've occupied. We know that they have chemical and biological weapons that they may choose to use, as they have, by the way, in places like Syria. So in a sense, nothing is really off the table. Putin doesn't want us to think otherwise because he wants to use those things as a deterrent. So there's a high degree of possibility of things escalating. And that, by the way, is the reason why the West isn't more involved than it is. The reason why the US doesn't formally have boots on the ground is exactly that reason. They want to prevent a larger escalation. That is Putin's trump card in a way. He needs this to be as isolated as it possibly can be.
are watching India Today.
Chaos, crisis and collapse. Payback time for Pakistan. Begging bowl as the terror blowback.
I feel very embarrassed कि मैं आपसे हर दफा आता हूँ, कोई और आता है तो आप कहते तो नहीं, लेकिन दिल के अंदर तो आप समझते होंगे ये पैसे मांगने आ गए हैं. तो मैंने कहा कि ये पाकिस्तान एक मिसाल इसकी ये है कि एक हाथ में हमारे एक न्यूक्लियर ताकत है और दूसरे हाथ में कशकोल. ये आग और पानी का ये कब तक ये मेलाप हो नहीं सकता, कब तक चलेगा?
Boasted 1,000-year war with India.
Wars with India. 3.
Pakistan says it has learnt its lessons finally.
Pakistan has learnt its lesson. We had 3 wars with India. 3. And the consequence of those wars, as a result, it only brought more miseries.
Food riot, begging for aid, and now global shame. Price of peddling terror.
Hello and welcome to an India Today special broadcast. I'm Gaurav Sawant. Pakistan is in dire straits. Pakistan is in trouble. Its financial condition continues to deteriorate. So bad is the situation that Pakistan's Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif is now talking about talks with India. Shahbaz Sharif in an interview said that Pakistan's fought 3 wars with India and Pakistan has learnt its lessons. Are these indications that Pakistan's Prime Minister is trying to seek aid from India? But the sting is in the detail. The devil is in the detail and the sting is in the tail. Pakistan's Prime Minister is actually talking about resolving all outstanding issues, which for Pakistan remains Kashmir and restoration of Article 370. Clearly, Pakistan doesn't want to talk about India's core issue, and that is Pakistan's state-sponsored terror and inaction against radical Islamist terrorists of UN-designated terrorist organizations like Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. Food crisis, skyrocketing inflation, and protests. Pakistan, a country of 23 crore people, is living its worst nightmare. Massive protests erupted in the Gilgit-Baltistan region of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir on Tuesday over food shortage and runaway inflation. Enraged citizens of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir blocked highways and burnt tires to express their anger against the Shahbaz Sharif-led Pakistan government. In midst of it all, Pakistan's Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif conceded Pakistan had learnt its lessons after fighting multiple wars with India and losing. The Pakistani Prime Minister admitted that all 3 wars with India had brought his country down.
Pakistan has learnt its lesson. We had 3 wars with India. 3. And the consequence of those wars, as a result, it only brought more miseries, unemployment,
two nations,
poverty.
Shahbaz Sharif claimed his country now wants to live in peace with India, but once again raked up the Kashmir issue.
We must. We are not a country, we don't have zayt or gas. We have very strong human resource, labor, engineers, etc. That's our asset. We want to convert that into our tools to provide prosperity.
For far too long, Islamabad has ignored its economy, instead focusing all its energies using terrorism as an instrument of state policy. Now, the country is drowning in debt. In a desperate bid to remain afloat, Pakistan has taken a fresh loan from the United Arab Emirates this week. But the financial help from the Arab nation is actually too little and too late to bail out a sinking Pakistan. Bureau Report, India Today. Joining me now for more on this big story is India Today's Foreign Affairs editor, Geeta Mohan. Geeta, Pakistan's Prime Minister seems to be indicating that he wants the UAE to intervene. Pakistan wants some kind of dialogue with India on Kashmir and on Article 370, both clear no-go areas until Pakistan deals with radical Islamist terror that comes through Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed. So is this then an attempt to divert attention of his country from the deep crisis that Pakistan is facing? What's the thinking in South Bloc?
Well, two things. One, it's diversionary, as it always has been with the Pakistani establishment, whether it's any civilian government or the military establishment, Gaurav. But on the other hand, it's not just diversionary, it's also posturing. Pakistan knows that there is going to be no moving back from the decision of August 2019 on Article 370. And that's the reason why Pakistan always mentions it. Secondly, there is going to be no resolution to a bilateral dispute on Kashmir between India and Pakistan under the auspices of the United Nations. So these two areas are no-go, and Pakistan knows that. So primarily it looks like what it always has been, which is posturing. Having said that, Pakistan trying to blame India for the economic crisis is more than just ridiculous. Why, Gaurav? Is because the last war was fought in the 70s and the last big conflict was in the 90s. And since then, what has Pakistan really done in order to bring its economy in order? Nothing really, barring the corruption that Pakistani politicians and the military establishment involves itself in, and funding terror camps in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Therefore, the blame is solely on Pakistan, and Pakistan now in the United Arab Emirates only because there is no bailout that it's getting from IMF as of now. And the dire straits that Pakistan is in is the reason behind it is the mismanagement of all the funds and aid that went Pakistan's way to fight terrorism, and instead they funded terrorism.
Pakistan funded terrorism, corruption rampant across Pakistan, tax compliance almost near zero in Pakistan, especially when it comes to the rich, the powerful, and of course the Pakistan army. Geeta Mohan, for the moment, many thanks. Abdul Rahman Makki, the 74-year-old brother-in-law of the Hafiz of Terror, Hafiz Muhammad Saeed, the founder of Lashkar-e-Taiba, has finally been designated by the United Nations Sanctions Committee. China, which was blocking sanctions against Makki, has finally relented after Beijing stood isolated at the United Nations Security Council with 14 or 15 members in favor of action against Pakistan's state-sponsored radical Islamist terror and the designation of Abdul Rahman Makki, who incidentally has been involved in a series of terror attacks in India, from the Parliament attack to the Red Fort attack to 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks, and the man who actually threatened India with rivers of blood for Kashmir.
Abdul Rahman Makki, a key terror ideologue and financier of Lashkar-e-Taiba, involved in a series of terror strikes in India, including 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks in 2008, was finally put on the 1267 sanctions list of the United Nations Sanctions Committee. And isolated China finally removed the technical hold on sanctions, with 14 out of 15 members voting in favor.
We welcome the decision of the UN Security Council's ISIL and Al-Qaeda Sanctions Committee to list Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorist Abdul Rahman Makki. Threats from terrorist organizations in the region remain high, and listings and sanctions by the UN Security Council are an effective tool to curb such threats and dismantle terror infrastructure in the region. India remains committed to pursuing a zero-tolerance approach to terrorism.
Makki, brother-in-law of UN-designated global terrorist and founder of Lashkar-e-Taiba, Hafiz Saeed, carries a $2 million reward on his head. 74-year-old Makki is a US-designated terrorist. With Pakistan under global scrutiny over support to terrorists, Hafiz Saeed was put under a sham house arrest. Makki was handling the main operations, including generating funds for terror activities of LET in J&K.
Our quest for justice for our people against Pakistani-based terrorists will continue. This is a good success.
Makki, after 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks at a rally in Pakistan, threatened India with rivers of blood if Kashmir was not handed over to Pakistan. India has repeatedly sought action on Makki, but China continued to put a technical hold on the listing of both Makki and 26/11 terror financier Sajid Mir.
His designation as global terrorist is going to be a big victory because it is going to starve Lashkar-e-Taiba of funds. And to that extent, I think it will reduce Lashkar-e-Taiba's efficacy and reduce terror activities of Lashkar-e-Taiba.
Makki has been involved in a series of terror strikes in India, including the December 2000 Red Fort terror attack, December 2001 Parliament attack, 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks, 2018 Karan Nagar Srinagar attack, 2018 killing of Shujat Bukhari, a senior journalist in Srinagar. When Pakistan was under the Financial Action Task Force scrutiny, Makki was arrested and convicted on charges of terror financing, but was among 6 people acquitted by the Lahore High Court in November 2021. The Counter-Terror Department of Pakistan's Punjab Police has filed over 40 cases against Makki and other terrorists of Jamaat-ud-Dawa.
After placing numerous technical holds on the designation of Makki, China finally relented. But this is not the first, or for that matter, the last time that China will continue to support Pakistan, even if it means supporting terrorism. In New Delhi, Geeta Mohan for India Today.
US designated international terror financer and the 1993 Mumbai serial blast accused Daud Ibrahim Kaskar has got remarried to a Pathan woman in Pakistan. Is this Daud Ibrahim's ploy to protect his wife Mehjabeen? Is Mehjabeen trying to return to India and handle the D company in this country? What's the bigger game plan? Arvind Ojha gets you details. 1993 Mumbai serial blast mastermind, a designated global terrorist, fugitive underworld don, the terrorist who runs his D company crime syndicate from a Pakistan safe house in Karachi. Daud Ibrahim Kaskar is not just flourishing in Karachi, but believe it or not, he just got married once again. The 67-year-old married for the second time to a Pakistani girl from the Pathan community. This while staying married to his first wife, Mehjabeen Sheikh, who has been a partner in his crime and terror syndicate. Pakistan has not just sheltered Daud Ibrahim Kaskar in a fortified and posh Karachi locality in Clifton, but has also ensured that he operates
with impunity. The shocking revelations come from Ali Shah, son of Daud Ibrahim's sister Hasina Parkar, who confessed to the National Investigation Agency in September 2022. According to Shah, Daud Ibrahim's second marriage may also be an attempt to shift the focus of the investigating agencies from his first wife, Mehjabeen. Shah revealed Daud Ibrahim has not divorced his first wife while marrying for the second time. He also revealed Daud's latest location in Pakistan, adding he's now living in Defence Colony in Rahim Faki area of Karachi, which is also highly fortified near Clifton, Karachi. Daud's nephew revealed that Mehjabeen still maintains contacts with their relatives in India through WhatsApp calls. Daud Ibrahim has 3 daughters and a son named Moin with Mehjabeen. His sister Hasina Parkar, who died in 2014, used to control the D Company's operations till her death in India. With Arvind Ojha, Bureau Report, India Today.
And it's a triple whammy for Pakistan. There is an economic crisis, there is a political crisis, and on top of that, there is acute food crisis. Almost food riots in different cities across Pakistan. There are allegations of discrimination that the Pakistani Punjabi Muslims are not giving adequate wheat to either people of Gilgit-Baltistan or Pakistan-occupied Kashmir or even Sindh and Balochistan. People are scrambling for a bag of flour. People have lost their lives. People have been injured. Pakistan Army has had to resort to firing in the air to ensure that food riots don't escalate. And why? Because Pakistan is unable to acquire wheat for its people. Pakistan's economy is in a shambles. Our next report gets us more.
Food shortage, stampedes, gunfire. Pakistan, a country of 23 crore people, is now paying for its crimes. For far too long, Islamabad has overlooked governance and instead focused all its energies on the use of terror as a strategic weapon. Today, firing their AK-47 rifles, the army and police are protecting the priceless wheat flour. That's right, they're actually standing guard for atta against hungry crowds risking their lives just to lay their hands on that one invaluable bag of food. Pakistan is facing its worst ever food crisis, with parts of the country reporting a massive shortage of wheat and wheat flour. Stampedes have been reported in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Sindh and Balochistan provinces.
मुल्क का कर्जा कैसे उतरेगा? तो किसी नौजवान ने कहा कि ब्यूटी पार्लर बंद करके उतरेगा, किसी ने कहा कबाब रोल खाने बंद कर दें तो उतर जाएगा, किसी लड़की ने कहा कि हम कमेटियां डाल लेते हैं सब मुल्कों से लेकर,
सब अपनी अपनी गड़ियां बेचते बाहर,
उससे उतर सकता है.
The country is drowning in debt, making even imports a tough task.
ये बताओ मुल्क का कर्जा कैसे उतरेगा?
मुल्क का कर्जा जब पैसे होंगे जब उतरेगा, आपको नहीं पता.
तेल का बोतल आता है ऐसे यूं पत्ता लग के ऐसे यूं बैठे होते हैं ये इधर डिफेंस में. अगर लड़के सारे उधर बैठ जाए ये काम कारोबार स्टार्ट कर दे तो ये मुल्क जो है तरक्की हो जाएगा.
मतलब हर नौजवान मालशी बन जाए.
मालिश में जितना पैसा है ना उधर किधर नहीं है.
Amidst this crisis, the political leadership is busy pointing fingers at one another.
इमरान नियाजी की बदकिस्मती कि 4 साल पूरी सपोर्ट के बगैर वो एक बदतरीन नाकाम वजीर आज़म निकला, और जो लोग जिन्होंने उसको मसनद इक़्तिदार पर बिठाया आज किस तरह के कभी उनके ऊपर इल्ज़ाम तराशी कर रहा है.
इस वक्त जिधर हम खड़े हैं उसमें एक आदमी जिसके पास बड़ी ताकत थी, जनरल बाजवा, उसका बहुत बड़ा हाथ है, बल्कि उसी का हाथ है जो आज हम यहां खड़े हैं.
At a time when citizens are starving, Maryam Nawaz, the daughter of former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, is making headlines for her shoes and clothes worth lakhs of rupees. The country is facing challenges on multiple fronts, like plummeting forex reserves, high inflation which has reached a staggering 42%, conflict with the Taliban in Afghanistan, the Baloch insurgency escalating, a huge historic food shortage and a crippling power crisis. Add to it huge damage from last year's historic floods. Pakistan is battling to meet the very basic needs of its citizens. The countdown clock has begun to total collapse. Bureau Report, India Today.
Pakistan continues to sink. It expects India, at least some in Pakistan do, that India should bail Pakistan out. But clearly, that should only happen if Pakistan takes clear, visible, credible and irreversible steps against India-centric terror. We will track that story very closely. That is all I have for you on this special broadcast. Many thanks for watching.
You are watching India Today.
Food shortage, stampedes, gunfires. Pakistan, a country of 23 crore people, is now paying for its crimes. For far too long, Islamabad overlooked governance and instead focused all its energies on the use of terror as a strategic weapon. Today, firing their AK-47 rifles, the army and police are protecting the priceless wheat flour against hungry crowds, risking their lives to lay their hands on that one bag of food. Pakistan is facing its worst ever food crisis, with parts of the country reporting shortage of wheat. Stampedes have been reported in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Sindh and Balochistan provinces. The country is drowning in debt, making even imports a tough task. Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif met UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed on Sunday. The nuclear weapon state, struggling to stay afloat, sought a fresh economic package from the UAE.
और मुझे बड़ी शर्म आ रही, लेकिन मजबूरी है. हमारे मामलात जो माली मामलात जो हैं, इस वक्त बड़े IMF की शराइत में हम जकड़े हुए हैं. अभी भी 9th रिव्यू मुकम्मल नहीं हुआ. उनके शर्त है कि जनाब बिजली की कीमतें बढ़ाएं, फलां कीमतें बढ़ाएं. गरीब आदमी को पर कितना और बोझ डालें.
The country is facing challenges on multiple fronts like plummeting forex reserves, high inflation which has reached 42%, conflict with Taliban, Baloch insurgency, food shortage, power crisis and massive flood damage. Country that funded terror is now left embarrassed for begging for funds.
वहाँ पर मैंने तफसील से बात की कि मुझे बड़ी I feel very embarrassed कि मैं आपसे हर दफ़ा आता हूँ, कोई और आता है तो आप कहते तो नहीं, लेकिन दिल के अंदर तो आप समझते होंगे ये पैसे मांगने आ गए हैं.
With UAE pledging additional $1 billion to help cash-strapped ally Pakistan, question arises, will Islamabad use the money to meet the basic needs of citizens, or will it once again be used to fund terror? Bureau Report, India Today.
The bitter spat between the Delhi government and Lieutenant Governor VK Saxena spilled out onto the streets of the national capital once again on Monday. Chief Minister of Delhi Arvind Kejriwal led a protest march with party legislators from the assembly to the LG's residence. On reaching the Lieutenant Governor's residence, the Chief Minister claimed they were denied an audience. Kejriwal slammed the Lieutenant Governor for blocking government schemes, including plans to send school teachers to Finland for training.
बेहद दुख है कि आज हम सब लोगों को, दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री को, दिल्ली के सारे चुने हुए विधायकों को एलजी हाउस मार्च करके कोई बड़ी चीज के लिए नहीं जाना पड़ रहा है, मात्र इस चीज के लिए जाना पड़ रहा है कि एलजी साहब हमारे शिक्षकों को फिनलैंड ट्रेनिंग के लिए जाने दो, उनको मत रोको। आपने दिल्ली में योगा क्लासेस रोक दी, बताओ योगा क्लासेस रोकने से एलजी साहब को क्या फायदा हुआ? 17,000 लोग डेली योगा करते थे, मैं उनको फ्री में योगा कराता था। जी साहब ने अफसरों को बोल के दिल्ली के सारे मोहल्ला क्लिनिक्स की सारी पेमेंट रुकवा दी, दवाइयां रुकवा दी, टेस्ट रुकवा दिए, डॉक्टरों की तनख्वाह रुकवा दी, मोहल्ला क्लिनिक का रेंट रुकवा दिया, मोहल्ला क्लिनिक का बिजली का बिल रुकवा दिया।
Amid the protest, the Lieutenant Governor's office issued a clarification saying VK Saxena hadn't rejected the teachers' training proposal. The statement called the Aam Aadmi Party's charge misleading and motivated. The Lieutenant Governor's office said Saxena had asked the Aam Aadmi Party government to re-evaluate the proposal with a cost-benefit analysis, asking them to check for other teacher training programs within India.
देखिए, अरविंद केजरीवाल और आम आदमी पार्टी को संवैधानिक संस्थाओं पर विश्वास नहीं है। लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर साहब ने क्या मांगा? एक कॉस्ट एनालिसिस शीट ही तो मांगी है, लेकिन आपको हर बार की तरह आप उसको ईगो पे ले जाते हैं। दिल्ली का विकास आपने करना नहीं, लेकिन उसकी जगह आप इस तरह का ड्रामा क्रिएट करते हो।
Ahead of the protest march, ruckus broke out between Aam Aadmi Party and BJP legislators in the assembly on the first day of the winter session. BJP and Aam Aadmi Party MLAs engaged in sloganeering against each other in the House, after which the day's proceedings were adjourned. BJP MLAs had come to the Delhi Assembly carrying oxygen cylinders and wearing oxygen masks in protest against poor air quality in the national capital. The winter session is expected to go on till Wednesday.
As per the MLAs, especially the Aam Aadmi Party MLAs, has clearly said that the LG government has declined their teacher training, but on contrary, LG office has clearly said that there is no declination of that. But the matter is that he advised to evaluate internal assessment system within the country, especially as far as the teacher training program is concerned. With camera person Shailendra in Delhi, it's Ram Kinkar Singh for India Today.
Association with LIC, हर पल आपके साथ। BJP battle ready for state of war South. Prime Minister and BSY meet amid rumours of rift. PM's assurance to BSY after snubs. KCR's throne on BJP's radar. Prime Minister's focus dethrone K. Chandrasekhar Rao. Battle for South in top gear.
Good evening. You're watching 6 p.m. Prime here on India Today. I'm Akshita Nandagopal, and this edition we're going to be focusing on the takeaways from the National Executive Meet as we get you details of what the Prime Minister's message is to every Karyakarta of the BJP. 2023, it's very clear for the BJP, is a year when they're hoping to break through in the South. With two crucial elections, Karnataka and Telangana, coming up, the BJP is hoping to make big inroads in Telangana and to hold on to power in Karnataka. We're going to be talking about that and much more. The headlines first. BJP's big announcement in key election year. JP Nadda's term as BJP president extended till June 2024. Amit Shah endorses Nadda, says party strike rate under him has been high. Ahead of Congress's Bharat Jodo Yatra in Jammu and Kashmir, big security advisory for Rahul. Rahul told to not walk at certain areas and also advised to use car in vulnerable parts. Turning point in India's fight against corruption. UK to extradite fugitive arms dealer and Robert Vadra aide Sanjay Bhandari. Day after street march, Kejriwal trains guns on Delhi Lieutenant Governor in the Delhi Assembly, calls him Viceroy, says LG must not behave like the headmaster. UNSC lists Pakistan-based terrorist Abdul Rahman Makki as a global terrorist after repeated efforts by China to block listing. Modi government hails UNSC decision. And Pakistan Prime Minister's big statement on India. Shehbaz Sharif claims Pakistan has learnt its lesson after 3 wars against us.
Pakistan has learnt its lesson. We had 3 wars with India. 3. And the consequence of those wars, as a result, it only brought more miseries.
All right, let's begin with breaking news coming in. Big update in the Delhi hit and track case as murder charges have finally been filed against all the accused in this case. Cops have said that after collection of physical, oral, forensic and other scientific evidence, these charges have been changed to murder instead of culpable homicide. Remember that this development also comes after the MHA had recommended and had said that the police must go ahead and ensure that this is a murder case, keeping in mind the details that emerged and how the accused, based on the evidence, were found to have dragged Anjali's body despite knowing that the body was attached to the wheel of their car. Shreya Chatterjee is joining us with more details on this. Shreya, a step that should have been taken from the get-go. Finally, now there seems to be some action being taken by the cops to ensure the accused don't get away with light charges.
Well, absolutely. So, Akshita, that's what now happened in the Kanjawala case. Remember, this has been a demand for a very long time, and it was yesterday in court that Delhi police said that they will be invoking murder charges, and that's what happened today. After gathering evidences, which is both physical, oral and forensic evidence, they have invoked Section 302. Important to mention that their police has also moved MSEP for the early grant of compensation to the family. Now we only hope that with this murder charges being invoked, the accused will get maximum punishment in this horrific incident that shook the entire country.
Very true, Shreya. And there will be questions of why the Delhi police didn't do this in the first place. You know, this particular step has also been taken, Shreya, after the MHA had intervened. So that's an important point. Thanks for the moment for joining us. And let's get your inside details from the National Executive Meet, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi also addressed BJP Karyakartas. Highlights of what the Prime Minister has said is right here on India Today. He's essentially said that every day, different places, people must go, Karyakartas must go and spread the message. Let's cut across live to Devendra Fadnavis.
प्रयत्नों की पराकाष्ठा करें, अपने जीवन का क्षण क्षण और अपने शरीर का कण कण हम भारत की इस विकास गाथा में लगाए और भारत के इस सर्वोत्तम काल के साक्षी हम लोग बन सकते हैं। इस प्रकार की एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण बात उन्होंने कही और साथ साथ ये भी कहा कि इस अमृत काल को कर्तव्य काल में परिवर्तित करें, तभी हम अपने देश को तेजी के साथ आगे ले जा सकते हैं। आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने एक प्रकार से ये बताया कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी अब केवल राजनीतिक आंदोलन भर नहीं है, तो उसका रूपांतरण एक सामाजिक आंदोलन में हुआ है, जो समाज के सामाजिक आर्थिक परिवर्तन के लिए काम करने वाला, कार्य करने वाला उपकरण इस रूप से आज कार्य कर रही है। और उसी अनुरूप हमारे कार्यकर्ताओं ने भी काम करना चाहिए। साथ ही में उन्होंने कुछ कार्यक्रम भी हम लोगों को विशेष रूप से करने को कहा, जिसमें भारतीय जनता पार्टी के मोर्चों के कार्यक्रम बॉर्डर विलेजेस के साथ हमारा संपर्क ज़्यादा बने, उनका मेन स्ट्रीमिंग ये हम लोग कर पाए और वहाँ पर हमारी एक्टिविटी बढ़े, ताकि हमारा संपर्क सूत्र भी वहाँ बने और हमारी विकास की योजनाएं भी बहुत तक पहुँचे। उसी प्रकार से आकांक्षी जिलों के विकास में भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं की भूमिका हो। जहाँ पर हम लोग अगर माल न्यूट्रिशन से लड़ाई कर रहे हैं, तो क्यों ना भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ता भी अपने ओर से वहाँ पर कोई ना कोई ऐसा कार्य चलाए कि जहाँ से न्यूट्रिशन मिशन को एक मदद हो। आकांक्षी जिलों में जो कार्य चल रहे हैं वो कार्य गति से हो, इस पर हम लोग ध्यान दें। उसमें कहीं कहीं गड़बड़ नहीं हो रही है, इसकी ओर हम ध्यान दें। ये बात भी उन्होंने हम सभी को बताई है। इसके साथ साथ एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत इस संकल्प को दोहराते हुए हमारे सारे राज्य एक दूसरे के साथ समन्वय करें, एक दूसरे के भाषा को, कल्चर को हम किस प्रकार से अपनाएं, किस प्रकार से उसके साथ हम लोग एक भावनात्मक रूप से जुड़े, इसके भी कार्यक्रम हो। जिस प्रकार से काशी में तमिल संगमम हुआ, उसी प्रकार से हम लोग अलग अलग भाषाओं को साथ में लेकर इस भारत को एक भारत के रूप में कैसे तैयार करें, ये भी बात उन्होंने हम सबके सामने रखी। एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण बात उन्होंने कही कि आज जैसे हमने बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ के माध्यम से विशेष रूप से जेंडर डिस्पैरिटी को दूर करने का प्रयास किया, और जिस प्रकार से उस बेटी को बचाने की कोशिश की जो बेटी समाज की कुरीतियों के कारण गर्भ में ही मारी जा रही थी, उन्होंने कहा इसी प्रकार से आज हमारी धरती माता की पुकार को भी हमें सुनना है। जिस प्रकार से हम लोग केमिकल्स का, फर्टिलाइजर्स का अनन्वित उपयोग करते हुए हमारी धरती माता को प्रदूषित कर रहे हैं, जिस प्रकार से आज इस प्रदूषण के कारण क्लाइमेट चेंज की विभीषिकाओं से, जलवायु परिवर्तन की विभीषिकाओं से हमें जूझना पड़ रहा है, हमको धरती माता की पुकार सुननी होगी और धरती माता की इस पुकार को सुनते हुए, चाहे वो प्राकृतिक खेती हो या एनर्जी ट्रांजिशन हो, इन सारे विषयों के ऊपर भारतीय जनता पार्टी को सरकार के साथ कदम से कदम मिलाकर चलना होगा। और इसमें हम किसानों को किस प्रकार से प्रेरित कर पाए, किस प्रकार से उनको मदद कर पाए, इसको एक मिशन के रूप में हम कैसे ले पाए, ताकि जलवायु परिवर्तन में और उसके खेती किसानी पर होने वाले परिणाम और उससे धरती माता पर होने वाले परिणाम, इसको हम कैसे दूर करें, इसके ऊपर भी हम लोग कार्य करें। आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने ये भी कहा कि विशेष रूप से हम लोग 18 से 25 इस आयु की जो हमारी तरुणाई है, इस तरुणाई ने भारत के राजनीतिक इतिहास को देखा नहीं है। उन्हें पता नहीं है कि भारत में पिछली सरकारों में किस प्रकार से अनाचार, दुराचार और भ्रष्टाचार देखा गया, किस प्रकार का कुशासन था और कहां भारत आज चलते हुए आया है और किस प्रकार से हम सुशासन की ओर जा रहे हैं। इसलिए 18 से 25 इस आयु के जो हमारे युवा हैं, इनमें भी जागृति तैयार करना, इनको भी लोकतंत्र के मूल्यों के साथ जोड़ने की कोशिश करना और साथ साथ किस प्रकार से के कुशासन से हम सुशासन की ओर आए हैं, ये बताकर उनको सुशासन के साथ जोड़ना और सुशासन का महत्व क्या है, सुशासन से देश कैसे परिवर्तित होता है, ये सारी बातें उन तक पहुंचाने का काम भी भारतीय जनता पार्टी को आने वाले दिनों में करना है। साथ साथ भारतीय जनता पार्टी भाजपा जोड़ो अभियान चलाएगी, जिसमें सभी लोगों को भारतीय जनता पार्टी के साथ जोड़ने का प्रयास हम करेंगे। और प्रधानमंत्री जी ने एक बात बहुत स्पष्टता से बताई कि हम लोगों को संवेदनशीलता के साथ समाज के सभी अंगों के साथ अपना रिश्ता जोड़ना है। आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी सभी समाजों तक पहुंची है, लेकिन कहीं पर अगर कोई कमी है भी दूर करना होगा। और साथ साथ ये भी संदेशा उन्होंने दिया कि ये सारी चीज़ें करते हुए केवल वोट की चिंता मत कीजिए, वोट के लिए ये सारी चीज़ें मत कीजिए, हमें देश और समाज को बदलना है, ये हमारा कर्तव्य है। कोई वोट दे या न दे, अगर हम इस सामाजिक काम को आगे करते जाएंगे, लोगों को जोड़ते जाएंगे, तो लोग हमारे साथ जुड़ेंगे। इसलिए कोरी राजनीति का विचार न करते हुए हम समाज नीति को लेकर किस प्रकार से अपने देश के इस अमृत काल को नए रूप से परिभाषित कर पाए, इसकी ओर भारतीय जनता पार्टी ज़्यादा ध्यान दे। एक और चीज़ प्रधानमंत्री जी ने भारतीय जनता पार्टी के हम सभी को बताई है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी एक ऐसी पार्टी है जिसमें बड़े पैमाने पर सदस्यता होती है और एक लोकतांत्रिक प्रक्रिया से यहाँ सभी का चयन होता है। लेकिन हम लोग इन सदस्यों का सम्मेलन नहीं करते और इसलिए उन्होंने भारतीय जनता पार्टी को ये सूचना की है कि जो हमारे प्राथमिक सदस्य हैं, जो हमारे प्राइमरी मेंबर्स हैं, ये प्राइमरी मेंबर्स का भी हम लोग एक सम्मेलन करें, हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में वो सम्मेलन करें और उसकी भी रचना आने वाले दिनों में भारतीय जनता पार्टी करेगी। कुल मिलाकर मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं कि आज का भाषण ये किसी राजनीतिक नेता का भाषण नहीं था, किसी पॉलिटिकल लीडर का भाषण नहीं था, एक स्टेट्समैन का भाषण था जिसमें पार्टी से भी ऊपर देश और देश के लिए पार्टी, इस प्रकार की संकल्पना हमारे सामने प्रधानमंत्री जी ने रखी है। और मेरा विश्वास है कि जो मार्ग प्रधानमंत्री जी ने दिखाया है उस पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी चलेगी और इन सारे संकल्पों को पूरा करेगी, क्योंकि प्रधानमंत्री जी ने एक बहुत अच्छी बात कही कि जो संकल्प करता है वही इतिहास रचता है और भारतीय जनता पार्टी को संकल्प भी करना है और भारत के लिए इतिहास भी रचना है।
कोई सवाल हो? न्यूज़ 24 से गौरव।
Okay, so Devendra Fadnavis there, the Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister, highlighting all of the big takeaways from the National Executive Meet, particularly focusing on what Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said. His message to BJP Karyakartas is essentially to focus on creating a larger base for the Saffron Party across the country, saying go to every nook and cranny, spread the message, and that makes a difference. Let's cut across live again.
उन्होंने अपने भाषण में नहीं कही, हाँ ये जरूर कहा कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी को मजबूत कीजिए और हर जगह पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी पहुंचे, ये प्रयास कीजिए।
विकास चंद्रा, न्यूज़ नेशन, बोलिए।
कार्यकारिणी की बैठक हुई। बैठक में क्या प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने सिर्फ जो आपने कहा कि स्टेट्समैन की तरह उन्होंने बात कही, संगठन को लेकर के क्या कुछ उन्होंने बातें कही, क्योंकि जिस तरीके से आगे चुनाव है और तमाम सारी चुनौती है उसको लेकर? देखिए, ये पूरी बातें संगठन के लिए ही थी। भारतीय जनता पार्टी किस प्रकार से अपने संगठन को देश के विकास के इस अमृत काल में जोड़े। मैं फिर एक बार कहना चाहता हूँ, उन्होंने बहुत एक ऐसी बात कही है कि ऐसा काल जो अभी आता हुआ दिखाई पड़ रहा है, ये शायद अगर हम लोग इस काल को अगर हमारी विकास यात्रा में परिवर्तित नहीं कर पाए तो हम पीछे छूट जाएंगे। इसलिए अब भारतीय जनता पार्टी अपनी पूरी ताकत इस अमृत काल को विकास काल में परिवर्तित करने में लगाए।
स्मृति काक, रामचंद्रन, हिंदुस्तान टाइम्स।
सर, पिछली बार पीएम ने बोला था कि देयर शुड बी एन आउटरीच टुवर्ड्स द माइनॉरिटीज, स्पेशली द मार्जिनलाइज्ड माइनॉरिटीज अमंग द मुस्लिम्स। उसका कोई रिव्यू हुआ कि वो कितना हो पाया है, और डू यू गेट अ सिमिलर काइंड ऑफ अ डायरेक्टिव दिस टाइम आल्सो?
देखिए, जो पिछले बार कहा था उसका एक कार्यक्रम भी भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने तैयार किया, और प्रधानमंत्री जी हमेशा कहते हैं कि जब तक समाज के मार्जिनलाइज्ड लोग जो है वो किसी भी समाज के हो, उनको मुख्य धारा में नहीं लाएंगे, तब तक देश की विकास यात्रा अधूरी होगी। और भारतीय जनता पार्टी लगातार ये प्रयास भी कर रहा है।
विकास भदौरिया, एबीपी।
सर, आपने कहा, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने बोला कि धरती माँ की पुकार सुनना भी ज़रूरी है। उन्होंने किस कंटेक्स्ट में ये बोला, क्या कोई एग्जाम्पल दिया अपने भाषण के दौरान?
जी देखिए, उन्होंने ये कहा कि जिस समय हमारे यहाँ पर एक जेंडर डिस्पैरिटी तैयार हुई थी, उस समय हम लोग ये कहते थे कि जो पेट में बच्चियाँ हैं उनकी पुकार सुनिए, उनको जन्म लेना है, उनको इस धरती पर कुछ करना है। वो जैसी पुकार हम लोगों ने सुनी, आज उसी प्रकार की एक पुकार धरती माता कर रही है कि मैंने आपको सब दिया, मैंने आपको पेड़ दिए, मैंने आपको अनाज दिया, लेकिन आज मेरे साथ जो व्यवहार हो रहा है, ये व्यवहार एक प्रकार से विनाश की ओर ले जा रहा है, और ये धरती माता की जो पुकार है, इसको हमको सुनना होगा।
संतोष पाठक।
देवेंद्र जी, आपने कहा कि कार्यकारिणी की बैठक में प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा कि संवेदनशीलता के साथ समाज के सारे तबकों के साथ रिश्ता कायम करना है, तो क्या कुछ खास तबकों का उन्होंने नाम भी लिया, जिक्र भी किया? नहीं, देखिए, समाज के सभी तबकों का अर्थ ये होता है कि सारे के सारे, उसमें पर्टिकुलर ये तबका या वो तबका नहीं, समाज के जितने पिछड़े हैं ये सभी को हम लोग किस प्रकार से मुख्य धारा में ला पाए, इसका प्रयास हमको करना है।
द ट्रिब्यून सर।
Devendra ji, I am Aditi Tandon from the Tribune. I just wanted to ask that opposition's negative propaganda and campaign against the Prime Minister featured in the political resolution. Did the Prime Minister comment on the opposition's role in Amrit Kal?
प्रधानमंत्री जी ने केवल इतना ही कहा कि हम ये अपेक्षा करते हैं कि इस यात्रा में सभी लोग अपनी अपनी भूमिका निभाएं, और उन्होंने ये भी कहा कि हम कभी भी अपोजिशन को कमज़ोर नहीं समझते, लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने अब ये ताकत तैयार की है कि हम अपने भरोसे ये सामाजिक आर्थिक परिवर्तन की लड़ाई तेजी से आगे ले जा सकते हैं।
चित्रा त्रिपाठी, आज तक।
देवेंद्र जी, मेरा सवाल ये है कि प्रधानमंत्री की ओर से ये भी कहा गया कि चुनाव में सिर्फ 400 दिन तकरीबन बाकी हैं, ऐसे में सभी समाज के तबकों तक जाएं, और क्या पसमानदा और बोरा मुसलमानों का भी जिक्र करते हुए स्पेसिफिक ये कहा गया कि वो आपको वोट करें या ना करें, लेकिन उनका साथ और उन पर विश्वास जमाने की पूरी कोशिश बीजेपी के कार्यकर्ताओं की ओर से की जानी चाहिए।
देखिए, ये जरूर प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा कि चुनाव में 400 दिन है, तो हमारे इस कार्यकाल की सेवा के लिए हमारे पास 400 दिन शेष है। ये 400 दिन हम मतदाताओं की पूरी सेवा करें। उन्होंने स्पेसिफिक ये समाज या वो समाज ऐसा न कहते हुए सारे समाज, जितने मार्जिनलाइज समाज है, सबका उल्लेख किया है।
सुजीत ठाकुर, भास्कर।
देवेंद्र जी, आपने कहा कि 18 से 25 आयु वर्ग वाले जो हैं, प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा उन्होंने देखा नहीं पीछे जो भी अच्छी बुरी बातें जो भी रही हूँ, तो क्या वो जो निगेटिविटी था उसके बारे में बताएंगे कि हम कैसे अच्छे शासन की तरफ जा रहे हैं, तो उसको भूलिए, क्या स्पेसिफिक क्या था वो चीज़?
देखिए, बहुत स्पष्ट रूप से।
So we'll continue tracking the takeaways from that press conference that's currently underway. Devendra Fadnavis briefing the media about what was discussed in the National Executive Meet. I want to bring in our National Affairs editor Rahul Srivastava on this. Rahul, many takeaways essentially from the Prime Minister's interaction with BJP leaders, with Karyakartas. He's put the focus on 2024, saying, look, we've got less than 400 days to go. Let's hit the ground running right away. He's spoken about reaching out to the Muslim community. He's also spoken out to all of those controversial figures within the BJP, in a sense, saying don't take your power for granted.
Yes, I think the one very clear clarion call which has gone out from Prime Minister's speech at the National Executive to the party cadres is that there is just 400 days left. That's a very clear indication that the Prime Minister is telling the cadres that the time to start working for 2024, that should be the focus. Starts yesterday. Beyond that, if you see, there is a very distinct attempt by the Prime Minister to send out a signal to the cadres, yes, to utilize the moment where India is right now. I think since G20 and such events are going to play a major role or maybe a major campaign of the BJP in the coming days, since India has the presidency this time around, I think the Prime Minister is also trying to showcase and asking the cadres to showcase what the BJP and the BJP's government has been achieving. The idea is to create a bouquet of issues before the people. But there is also one thing very interesting I find, that the Prime Minister, it's an exercise I think started sometime in May this year, where Prime Minister made several comments which were can be seen more as an attempt to rise above day-to-day bread and butter politics, to emerge more statesmanly. And I think if you see a lot of comments that irrespective of whether people vote for you or not, bring people into the party fold, all these are attempts by the Prime Minister to perhaps deflect the charge that under him the BJP has become more tolerant. And if you see, when I say that, that's the main theme of Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra. So I think that indirect reference definitely is there. He's asking the cadres to perhaps create and present an image in which the BJP seems more inclusive, more encompassing as far as the segments of the society is concerned, so that somewhere that blemish that the BJP is exclusive in its politics can be shed. Otherwise, I think it's a very clear call by the Prime Minister in terms of the Vikas Yatra and the Amrit Kal mentioned. The idea is to tell that right now India is on a slight high, on a high, definitely, given the fact that despite the whole world going through inflationary trends, supply crises, in that India perhaps has been able to tame inflation better. The growth data still is more encouraging than several parts of the world. And I think the idea is also messages to all the state chief ministers and others to become part of this moment where they can actually deliver better to the people so that 2024 can be an easier battle.
You know, it's very different. It's a clear contrast that you can draw between the comments and the speeches that Prime Minister Modi makes at rallies versus this one, where he's essentially kind of taking in all the criticism that comes the BJP's way and then directing Karyakartas, directing BJP leaders to work on that as well. So this is the Prime Minister acknowledging that, look, we need to work on our shortcomings going forward. Thanks very much, Rahul, for joining us with your insight also on the National Executive Meet. But this evening, I also want to focus on one particular aspect of the National Executive Meet, which is that in the 2 days, we've seen specific references, particular references to two states. In 2023, the BJP has a mission to conquer Telangana and to hold on to Karnataka and thereby ensure that they create more space and outreach per se to the south of the country. Two big states that go into elections this year, and the BJP is keeping their focus on that. Let's first focus on what's happening in Karnataka and how Prime Minister Modi personally intervened in this matter. There's been a lot of talk about Yediyurappa, former Chief Minister, stalwart, senior BJP leader, being snubbed, being completely sidelined by the party leaders. The most recent example was the fact that he didn't get an invite when the Prime Minister was in Karnataka, when he was in Hubli. So reportedly yesterday, Prime Minister Modi spoke to Yediyurappa, clearing all the air about him being sidelined. It was a 15-minute personal one-on-one meet between Yediyurappa and Prime Minister Modi. Let's get you all the inside details of what happened in that huddle.
He is a stalwart in Karnataka's politics. He is the architect of several BJP wins and the biggest Lingayat face in Karnataka. B.S. Yediyurappa's legacy in Karnataka politics can never be ignored. And yet the BJP seems to have chosen not just to sideline, but also snub BSY again and again and again. It isn't the first time that a no invite to Yediyurappa has set tongues wagging. Just weeks ago, the absence of the senior leader from Amit Shah's Mandya rally raised eyebrows. The who's who of BJP's Karnataka leadership was there, but not Yediyurappa, who even hails from Mandya. It's become a habit of sorts. A central BJP leader touches down and Yediyurappa goes missing. The Karnataka BJP has been firefighting these rumours for some time now. When BJP chief JP Nadda visited Koppal in December, Yediyurappa wasn't invited and reportedly expressed his displeasure, prompting a last-minute personal invite from the state unit. But BSY has time and again quelled all this talk, saying all is well.
ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಯನ್ನ ಹಗಲು ರಾತ್ರಿ ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಬೆಳೆಸಿ ಕಟ್ಟಿರುವಂಥ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಒಬ್ಬ ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುವಂಥ ಸಂಗತಿ. ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ನನ್ನನ್ನು ನೆಗ್ಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಈ ಥರ ಮಾತುಗಳು ಹೇಳುವಂಥದ್ದು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಆ ಥರ ಯಾವುದೇ ಪ್ರಸಂಗ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಒಟ್ಟಾಗಿದ್ದೇವೆ, ಒಗ್ಗಟ್ಟಾಗಿದ್ದೇವೆ, ಒಂದಾಗಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಏಕೈಕ ಗುರಿ ಬರುವಂಥ ದಿವಸಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಜೆಪಿನ ಅಧಿಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ತರುವುದು.
CM Basavaraj Bommai too has attempted damage control, saying there was no question of his predecessor being sidelined.
ಅದು ಶುದ್ಧ ಸುಳ್ಳು. ಸರ್ವೋಚ್ಚ ನಾಯಕರಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರನ್ನ ಮುಂದಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡೇ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅವರ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ನಮಗಿದೆ. ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಡ್ಡಾಜಿಯವರ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅದು ತಂದೆ ಮಗನ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇದೆ. ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೂ ಯಾವುದೇ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಊಹೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವ್ರು ನಿರಾಶೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
But the worry for the Karnataka BJP is also the rumblings within.
ಎಲ್ಲ ಜನಸಂಪರ್ಕ ಸಭೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಯಡಿಯೂರಪ್ಪನವ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಈಗ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಮಟ್ಟದ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿನೂ ಇದೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಪಕ್ಷದ ವರಿಷ್ಠ ನಾಯಕರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಡಿಯೂರಪ್ಪನವರು ಕೂಡ ಒಬ್ರು. ಆ ಥರದ್ದು ಯಾವುದೂ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನೆನ್ನೆ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋಣ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಬೊಮ್ಮಾಯಿಯವರೇ ಕರೆದ್ರು. ಯಡಿಯೂರಪ್ಪನವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ನಾನು ಇನ್ನೆರಡು ಜನರಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೀನಿ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾನು ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು.
ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಭಾವಿಕವಾಗಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಭಿನ್ನಾಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ ಇರೋದೇನು ವಿಶೇಷ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಇದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಿಜೆಪಿಲೂ ಇದೆ.
All this talk of dissent within the BJP ranks has the Congress rubbing its hands in glee. The grand old party has been plagued by the infighting, courtesy the DK Sidda tussle, and is now making the most of this development.
Law Minister Madhuswamy has very clearly said, this is not a government, we are a management company, we are just killing our time and managing people. So much of discord, so much of misunderstanding, so much of groupism. Mr. Yediyurappa is looking other way, Ishwarappa is looking other way, Jagdish Shettar is already been finished. Mr. BMY is just killing his time and doing whatever needs to be done. So this is not a government, this is a circus. This party is not united.
Sources have told India Today that Prime Minister Modi met with Yediyurappa at the National Executive Meet in Delhi in 10 minutes. A clear attempt by the Prime Minister himself to iron out any possibility of a revolt by Yediyurappa. With Nagarjun Dwarkanath in Hubli, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, and I'd like to introduce now on this broadcast R.K. Upadhyay, senior journalist who tracks very closely Karnataka politics. Mr. Upadhyay, pleasure having you with me here on 6 p.m. Prime. I happen to read your column also on Yediyurappa, sir, and I'm curious to know, do you think all is well? The BJP, of course, is trying to claim there's no problem, but obviously there's no smoke without fire. And it's clear that Yediyurappa is disgruntled. But with a 15-minute meet with Prime Minister Modi, do you think that'll iron out all issues?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. But it's very clear that Mr. Yediyurappa is not happy for quite some time, and he believes that he is not being shown the respect that he deserves, and is not being taken into confidence on many important issues. And I think that's the crux of the matter. Unless BMY and others, sit down with him and find out what is, the issues are, it's going to blow over, and it's going to be blow out, and it's going to be very difficult to control. And I think the Prime Minister did well to assure him that he is very much required in the party, and the party looks up to him to win the next election, because Mr. Yediyurappa can pull 5 to 6% of the votes. I mean, he's the tallest leader in the party, and he's the only vote catcher, not Mr. BMY. BMY, is just managing the affairs of the state. But Mr. Yediyurappa, under unfortunate circumstances, had to leave chief ministership in August 2021. But, Mr. Prime Minister is trying to hold on to him for various reasons. He made him the member of the parliamentary board and the Central Election Committee in August. But still, I think he's getting all kinds of unnecessary insults, which is really making him
where does the sidelining and the snubbing really stem from? Because the BJP doesn't have a prominent face. And if Prime Minister Modi is going the extra mile to kind of reach out to Yediyurappa, where does the sidelining and the snubbing constantly in Karnataka stem from?
I think it has something to do with Mr. B.L. Santosh, who is very close to the central leadership, and he sits in Delhi. He's a
Apologies, we've lost that connection with Mr. Upadhyay, but he made a very important point there. Most of the reports suggest that the reason Yediyurappa is being sidelined is because of a very, very important leader, B.L. Santosh, who calls a lot of the shots for the BJP in Karnataka. So while the central BJP, Prime Minister Modi, is trying to show that Yediyurappa is still relevant for the party, B.L. Santosh seems to be holding a grudge, which translates to these problems of sidelining, snubbing, etc. But can the BJP actually afford to go ahead and dismiss or sideline BSY the way they currently are, and that in the run-up to an election? B.S. Yediyurappa, I have no doubt in your mind, is still very much relevant in Karnataka politics. He's an old horse, senior, veteran politician, but someone who's still very much relevant and very important for the BJP. Let's tell you why. The most important point is the fact that he represents the Lingayat community, the tallest, most recognized Lingayat leader right now for the BJP. And it's also their biggest vote bank. They cannot afford to irk this community. So they will try to hold on to BSY, because if they sideline him, snub him further, it could lead to a problem with the Lingayat vote bank. There's also the fact that the BJP doesn't have a face in Karnataka like Yediyurappa. He's the only BJP leader right now with a mass pan-Karnataka appeal. Many still associate the Karnataka BJP with him because Basuraj Bommai hasn't been able to create the kind of impact that Yediyurappa has managed to. And it's not just about the people of Karnataka, but within the BJP as well. Many of the defectors who switched from Congress and JDS over the years to the BJP still back Yediyurappa because it was his doing of getting them on to the BJP. So that is another crucial aspect, that if there is any sort of ignoring the BSY factor, many of the leaders could jump back, could choose BSY. The BJP has been singed before, but only lost. Why? Because they were missing this man. They were missing the BSY factor. Yediyurappa at that point, again miffed with the BJP, had left. He had started the Karnataka Janata Party, the KJP, and ensured BJP's defeat essentially because he took a huge chunk of the BJP's votes with him when he left the party. Then, of course, a few years later, there was a reconciliation. The KJP was merged with the BJP. He was back with the Bharatiya Janata Party. So they've seen the impact of a sans Yediyurappa Karnataka BJP, and it hasn't been good for the Saffron Party. Sagai Raj is joining us live from Bengaluru with more details on this. Sagai, what are you hearing from your sources? Is the BSY camp kind of happy now? Have they settled down because Prime Minister Modi is directly intervened?
No, so far the BSY office is tight-lipped when it comes to any kind of conversation with Prime Minister Modi. But as you rightly pointed out, that he was being sidelined from past few days. And Akshita, as you have highlighted the importance of B.S. Yediyurappa from past few years, you have shown that how important and instrumental role that B.S. Yediyurappa has played. And let me add a few more things with the list of you that you have mentioned. One of those is that when the first time BJP came to power in Karnataka, in South India, B.S. Yediyurappa was the chief minister. And who was the chief guest on that particular oath-taking ceremony? It was then Chief Minister of Gujarat, Narendra Modi, who had attended the oath-taking ceremony of B.S. Yediyurappa when he became the Chief Minister. And in 2014, when KJP was merged with BJP, even at that point of time, B.S. Yediyurappa was unhappy with BJP, but still it was Modi who had convinced him to merge the party and asked B.S. Yediyurappa to contest on a Lok Sabha seat. And that's when he had contested instead of his son Raghavendra from Shimoga as an MP, and he has won. And even at that point of time, Modi was happy with them. And that is the reason they have promised that he will be the next chief minister candidate.
Is that Prime Minister Modi has repeatedly intervened to ensure that B.S. Yediyurappa is kept happy, and he's personally intervened in these matters because he knows Yediyurappa is crucial for the Karnataka BJP. But does the state unit actually recognize that is the question. Thanks very much, Sagai, for getting us those details. We'll continue to track what's happening in Karnataka because the BJP is doing everything they can to retain the state. But let's also talk about Telangana right now, where the Bharatiya Janata Party is trying as much as they can with everything they have to oust KCR, to oust the BRS. Sounding the poll bugle in Telangana, Prime Minister Modi has spoken about the yatra that's happening in the state. Heaping praise on the Telangana BJP chief, on Bandi Sanjay, Prime Minister Modi has said that other states should emulate the same model. He's also said that senior BJP leaders should go down to Telangana, be a part of these massive yatras, these massive rallies to take on the KCR government.
Telangana, the throne of KCR, is on BJP's radar now. Amid vicious election campaigns, all-out BJP versus BRS fights, the Telangana battle this year is going to be one of the most interesting elections. And now Prime Minister Modi too has put his focus on Telangana with one mission: to dethrone K. Chandrasekhar Rao. Sources have told India Today that Prime Minister Modi stressed on the need for top BJP leaders to visit Telangana and take part in massive rallies and yatras in the poll-bound state.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also said that 5 prominent people of all fronts from all states should go to Telangana and join the yatra to see how a huge yatra is going on under the leadership of Telangana State President Bandi Sanjay.
The Prime Minister heaped praise on Telangana BJP chief Bandi Sanjay Kumar, asking other state units to replicate the Praja Sangram Yatra, which is being led by Bandi Sanjay. The Telangana BJP chief took to Twitter to thank Prime Minister Modi for his praise.
It is a privilege and an inspiration words from the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji with regard to the Telangana activities and the activities taken up by Sri Bandi Sanjay, the State President of the Bharatiya Janata Party. His hard work, his Padayatra and his restless work for developing the party is definitely an advantage for the BJP in the state.
The Prime Minister's focus on Telangana comes amid an aggressive campaign by the BJP that's underway in the state already. So expect their campaigns to be shifted now to top gear.
हम तमिलनाडु और दक्षिण के राज्यों में भी तेलंगाना में भी एक ताकत बनकर धीरे-धीरे सैन उभर कर आ रहे हैं.
Meanwhile, the BRS has laughed off the BJP's intent to take over Telangana, questioning what the Modi government has done so far to help the state.
BJP State President Bandi Sanjay's statements on the directions of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji to do a lot of propaganda and publicity in Telangana is absolutely hilarious, because unfortunately Bharatiya Janata Party, which is in power in Government of India, has done nothing for Telangana.
The BRS meanwhile has a double agenda to focus on: the 2023 Telangana and 2024 national elections. With KCR changing his party from TRS to BRS, he is now focusing his energy on the national campaign. KCR will be accompanied by 3 state chief ministers: Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, and Punjab CM Bhagwant Mann. SP Chief Akhilesh Yadav and CPI National Secretary D. Raja will also be present. The stage is set for a mega political battle in Telangana, and Prime Minister Modi, with his war cry for Telangana, has set the ball rolling for an all-out saffron campaign in the state. Bureau Report, India Today.
Let me quickly get in Abdul Bashir, who's joining us live from Kamama in Telangana. That's where the BRS is holding this massive rally tomorrow. Abdul, the question right now, with the BJP making it clear that they want to focus on gaining Telangana, on winning in Telangana, is whether KCR is as focused. He seems to have national ambitions in mind. He seems to be looking at 2024. But is he taking Telangana for granted?
See, while we speak about Telangana, tomorrow is the first meeting that is going to be held, the public meeting by the BRS. It is said to be a mammoth, huge public meeting where 5 lakh people have been expected in this meeting. While we talk about the KCR taking Telangana for granted, then as we have seen in the recent election of Munugodu, where the BJP candidate who was a rebel from Congress had lost to the TRS candidate over there. But now, when 2024 elections are ahead, it is to be seen as to how the BRS party is going ahead with its agenda, with the farmer-centric agenda. The roadmap for the national arena has been set, and also simultaneously the state elections will be held in the same manner, in the same time span. So the preparations for the upcoming elections have been begun in the state of Telangana, with KCR holding this huge public meeting, and also
we'll be seeing members from different opposition parties descending where Abdul is in Khammam, which is where the meeting is happening tomorrow. Thanks, Abdul, for the moment, for getting us that ground report. With that, I'm slipping into a short break here on 6 p.m. Prime. Coming up on the other side, I'm getting you an exclusive ground report by Ashutosh Mishra from the holy shrine of Badrinath in Uttarakhand, which is covered in a thick blanket of snow, as you can see on your screens there.
The men and women who built Indian industry, and the young guns who are shaping tomorrow's India. From storied careers to unicorn dreams.
The equity market is a dynamic space that needs sharper insights and perfect timing.
What stock, what fund, what to pick and what to sell.
How do you make money on the markets? And what are the superior strategies for a winning portfolio?
Your questions answered by 30 years
of undisputed leadership. Only at the Market Today Summit.
There's been so much concern about whether there's going to be a marked slowdown and IT companies will only report maybe middling single-digit growth. What did you take away from the TCS and Infosys numbers? Because you have a significant holding in TCS.
global recession, what IT demand will conk off. So I'm a shareholder in Accenture. We are shareholders in TCS, and some of our advisory portfolios we had Infosys. I haven't seen either in realized numbers from Accenture, from TCS, from Infosys, either in the realized numbers or on their guidance on pipeline or on their recruitment, any sign of any weakness in demand. And the reason for that is not very hard to guess. They're trying to sort of be bearish on IT is like being bearish on steam engines in the middle of the industrial revolution. It's honestly as bad as that. Right? At a time when every IT company is telling you that the transition to cloud is only 30% done, at a time when you and I can read in the newspapers ChatGPT is coming, to be bearish on IT is as mad as trying to say steam engines are going to have a bear market for a couple of years, even though this is the height of the industrial revolution. That aside, if you and I do believe that the West is heading into a recession, that presumably increases the pressure on the Fortune 500 companies to outsource even more to India, not less. So I've never quite understood what brokers were trying to achieve last year, but trying to scare people out of IT stocks. We loved it. We bought a little bit more TCS, and in the last 3-4 months in our advisory portfolios, we built a position in Infosys. In my personal capacity, I've owned Accenture for now 20 years, since the IPO actually.
What have been the notable new purchases or inclusions in your mid-cap, small-cap portfolio over the next 3-4 months, over the last 3-4 months, sort of, that you can think of?
So let's start with PATH again. So it's notable that the one part of the country where Dr. Lal hasn't been very successful, which is South India. The South Indian PATH market is materially different from the rest of the country, in that South India is more prosperous, and therefore PATH and radiology is integrated there, whereas in Delhi or Kolkata, PATH and radiology is separate, and that means Dr. Lal's business model works very nicely in Eastern India and Northern India. And South, Dr. Lal business model, because it doesn't have radio and it doesn't quite work, and South Indians are too busy to go to one place for PATH and another place for radio. So in the South Indian market, we did a bunch of research for 4-5 months, and we figured out that Vijaya Diagnostics based in Hyderabad and dominant in Telangana and Andhra, has built a fabulous franchise, very similar ROCs, 40% ROCs, similar to Dr. Lal, but great reputation amongst radiologists, the state-of-the-art radiology kit. And as we traveled around Andhra and Telangana, cities like Vijayawada, cities like Warangal, we figured out that this is a kind of mini monopoly in a specific part of the country. So we loaded up on that in our small cap portfolio, in Little Champs. In our mid cap portfolio, we've historically had GMM Fordner. Sorry, we've historically had Alkyl Amines. We've added to that ICICI Lombard on the general insurance side, and in our small cap portfolio, around a year or so, we added a company called Posha.
The holy shrine of Badrinath in Uttarakhand is covered in a thick blanket of snow. The region witnessed heavy snowfall, resulting in a dip of temperatures to -16 degrees Celsius. Here's a report by Ashutosh Mishra, an exclusive ground report from the Badrinath Mandir.
This is the Badrinath shrine in Uttarakhand's Chamoli. At a height of 3,133 meters. Wrapped in a blanket of snow 2 to 3 inches thick. The temperature has plunged 16 degrees below zero.
You only get to see the images of the holy shrine Badrinath when the kapats are open.
For the first time in Badrinath, the holy pond is frozen. The Indo-Tibetan border police has been deployed to keep vigil around the Snowden temple.
यात्रा शुरू होने के पहले बद्रीनाथ के इस पूरे प्रांगण में सन्नाटा पसरा हुआ है। यहाँ अगर कुछ दिखती है तो वो है सिर्फ सफेद बर्फ। हालांकि हर साल के मुकाबले लगता है इस बार बर्फबारी काफी कम हुई है। यहाँ 2 से 4 फीट तक बर्फ जमा होती थी, लेकिन इस बार ये महज कुछ इंचों में है। और ठंड का आलम ऐसा है कि ये जो पीछे आगे मंगल द्वार पर एक तालाब है, और ये देख रहे हैं आप, जो पूरी छोटा सा तालाब है, इसके पानी की ऊपरी जो परत है वो पूरी तरह से जमकर पपड़ी हो चुकी है।
The entire region remains covered in a thick layer of snow. The sub-zero temperature means even breathing at this high altitude is tough. Badrinath temple is among the 4 shrines that are part of the Char Dham Yatra and is highly revered by Hindu devotees. Devotees not only from India but across the world come to get a glimpse of Badrinath temple. The shrine opens its doors to pilgrims after winter, but with Joshimath, the base camp of Badrinath pilgrims, sinking, it remains to be seen how the government facilitates the Char Dham Yatra this year. With Ashutosh Mishra in Badrinath, Bureau Report, India Today.
That's all we have time for in this edition of 6 p.m. Prime. Thanks for tuning in. Coming up on the other side is 7 at 7 with Preeti Chaudhary. She's getting you details of the big controversy on board an Indigo flight. Allegedly, the emergency exit door is opened. The Congress is alleging that it was BJP MP Tejasvi Surya who did so.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi hit the ground right before joining the crucial 2-day BJP National Executive Meet. The Prime Minister took out a roadshow in the national capital. While the roadshow itself was short, the messaging around it was loud and clear. The BJP is battle ready for 2024. The hoarding at the venue entrance reflected the BJP's poll plank, Hindutva, Nationalism and Vikas. A series, state elections this year, will set the momentum for the big finale in 2024.
Honorable the party president exhorted all the members of the national executive to be ready with full commitment to ensure that the BJP wins all the 9 assembly polls scheduled for 2023.
The BJP is finalizing its war strategy even as Congress leader Rahul Gandhi is nearing the end of his Kanyakumari to Kashmir Padyatra. The Congress, basking in the Bharat Jodo Yatra's supposed success, called Prime Minister Modi's roadshow a joke.
ये भारत जोड़ो यात्रा का असर है उन पर, और आज कुछ 2-3 घंटे के लिए एक छोटा सा रोड शो प्रधानमंत्री ने निकाला है, ये दिखाने के लिए कि वो अभी भी लोकप्रिय हैं।
कांग्रेस की हताशा ये बता रही है कि उनके पास और कुछ है ही नहीं। नरेंद्र मोदी जी से तुलना करने के लिए नरेंद्र मोदी जी जैसा सोच होना चाहिए, नरेंद्र मोदी जैसी राष्ट्रभक्ति होनी चाहिए।
While Rahul goes ahead with his yatra, which he says is aimed at uniting the country against hate, his sister Priyanka is canvassing for the Congress in the first big election this year, Karnataka. Fresh from the success in Himachal Pradesh, the Congress leader promised 2,000 rupees per month to each woman head of household if her party wins in Karnataka. Any opposition hope for success in 2024, however, will depend on its unity. So far, co-powered by Samsonite, tested like Samsonite. Volkswagen Tiguan, India's safest SUVW. Hetic fittings, make your furniture work beautifully.
Good evening, viewers. You're watching 7 at 7, the only news bulletin where I curate the day's top 7 stories for our viewers. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. These are the headlines. Prime Minister Modi addresses BJP workers at National Executive Meet, says party must meet people from all walks of life and focus on strengthening presence in villages, border areas and at booth level. BJP's big announcement in key election year. JP Nadda's term as BJP president extended till June 2024. Amit Shah endorses Nadda, says party strike rate under the leader has been high. Ahead of Congress Yatra in Jammu and Kashmir, big security advisory for Rahul Gandhi. Rahul advises to not walk at certain areas, advised to use car in vulnerable areas. Turning point in India's war against corruption. UK to extradite fugitive arms dealer and Robert Vadra's aide Sanjay Bhandari. Day after street march, Kejriwal frames guns on Delhi LG in the Delhi Assembly, calls him Viceroy, says LG must not behave like headmaster. United Nations Security Council lists Pakistan-based terrorist Abdul Rahman Makki as a global terrorist after repeated efforts by China to block listing. Modi government hails UNSC decision. Pakistan Prime Minister's big statement on India. Shahbaz Sharif claims Pakistan has learned its lesson after 3 wars against India.
Pakistan has learned its lesson. We had 3 wars with India, 3. And the consequence of those wars, as a result, it only brought more miseries.
Good evening, viewers. Our top focus is on one BJP MP, Tejasvi Surya. And the question that we are asking, did Mr. Tejasvi Surya somewhere down the line jeopardize passenger security on board Indigo Airways? A big controversy has now erupted over an Indigo flight which BJP MP Tejasvi Surya travelled in. Co-passengers have now alleged, claiming that Tejasvi Surya opened the emergency exit door of the aircraft right before takeoff, and that too for pure fun. The incident took place on the Chennai-Trichy flight, where it's been reported that BJP TN chief Annamalai and DMK spokesperson BT Arasa Kumar has said they were asked to deboard and wait in the bus for over 30 minutes. The flight finally took off after 3 hours of what was clearly an alleged misadventure by none else but Mr. Tejasvi Surya. The opposition has now targeted the BJP over its MP's accident, is what is being called. Congress accused the Bengaluru South MP of trying to suppress news of the incident as well. TMC has also jumped in, saying Tejasvi has been given a free pass for his political links. Will DGCA, will Jyotiraditya Scindia take action against him? Meanwhile, AIMIM chief Asauddin Owaisi has also tweeted saying, if you have a Sanskari name, it is accidental. If the name is Abdul, then sky is the limit. Please always keep your seat belts on. Once again, viewers, what is the allegation? The allegation is, which many eyewitness accounts suggest, that Tejasvi Surya, the MP who was on board this Indigo flight, he was sitting on the exit passageway on the seats which line the exit door, and opened the exit door for fun. Now, is that what really went down is the big question. Many eyewitness corroborate the story, say the same thing, and the finally actually took off after 3 hours because all the passengers were deboarded. Mr. Tejasvi Surya was moved to a different seat. Why did he do it is the big question. they say it was an accident, but the question that we also raise, viewers, and we must raise, can anyone accidentally open the exit door of an aircraft? And if so, hasn't he jeopardized passenger lives? And shouldn't he pay the price? What is the official punishment for misconduct or misadventure such as this? We're going to try and get in an understanding. But I want to cut across to my colleague Sagay Raj, who's joining us for the very latest. Any confirmation, Sagay, that's coming in right now, either from the Bharatiya Janata Party or Tejasvi Surya himself? Has he apologized for the same?
No, there is no any kind of clarification from the BJP office or from Tejasvi Surya's office. We were trying to reach them, but so far they have not spoken about this. They have not ruled out, or they have not clarified that he was a part of that particular flight. But the Congress are alleging that there are several media reports stating that Tejasvi Surya was allegedly in that particular flight, and he was the one who had opened that emergency door on the flight, and he was immediately shifted after the aircraft staff noticed that particular malpractice of the passenger. But even the airlines has also issued a statement on the same way. They said that yes, the incident has happened and the passenger was immediately shifted, and they had also follow the safety protocol which they have to follow, and thereafter the flight was taken off from Chennai to Trivandrum. And there are also reports, as well as Arasha Kumar, the DMK leader, has confirmed that Annamalai was on the flight.
I'm going to just stay with me. I'm going to come right back to you, and I'm going to ask you, under the protocol of the DGCA, if any passenger indulges in a misconduct or what seemingly is a misadventure for fun of sorts, what is the price that they pay? What is the punishment, that is meted out? I'm going to ask you that coming right back, but let's cut across to all the reactions that have poured in. The story, understandably, has also got political.
So are you alleging that Tejasvi Surya has essentially used his power as a member of parliament of the BJP to kind of suppress this news?
Doesn't it look like that? What is it? If you look at how things have panned out, it looks like he's used his good officers. My only thing is, if he's clean, let him come out and tell. And it is just not some small thing. He's tried to open the emergency exit of an airplane. There are serious ramifications for this. And it's just not him. What about his co-passenger safety? A public representative needs to be aware of what is happening, right? So if he is clean, let him come out and make a statement that I was not on that flight. I have nothing to do with that. I did not write an apology letter. See, there is an eyewitness who has quoted this.
Sir, the allegation is that along with Annamalai, Tejasvi Surya was there. You're saying you didn't see Tejasvi on board?
I don't know, but my emergency door is somebody's touch emergency door, open the door. I think lose the emergency door. That problems create. That's why we are all the passengers down against the flight.
But did you see who opened the emergency door, sir? Did you see when it happened?
No, Aeros only announced. Emergency door, somebody's emergency door touched the emergency door. Emergency door, but not open. I don't showing. I think not open, but touch with the emergency door.
I want to cut across back to my colleague Sagay Raj, who's joining us. Sagay, what is the punishment that the DGCA or the airline actually metes out in situations such as this, which we spoke about earlier? Because here it's a misadventure for fun is what is being reported. But what if any passenger jeopardizes the safety of others by misconduct such as this, opening the exit door before the flight takes off? Is there any punishment at all as per protocol?
As per the protocol, they do warn the passenger that they shouldn't involve in that. And even when you step inside any kind of aircraft to fly somewhere, there are warnings which has been used, there are instructions which has been given by the staff of that particular airline. And in this particular case, what we also get to learn is the passenger, allegedly Tejasvi Surya, has given an apology letter to the aircraft people stating that he will not repeat this again. But so far, the Tejasvi or Surya's office has not clarified, but the aircraft company has given a press notice on the state and given a clarification. Yes, they have taken an apology letter from the passenger, but we need to wait and check what the rule book says, or whether there is any kind of stern warning or there is any kind of punishment. For an example, next time they cannot board this particular flight, or a suspension of that particular passenger for a certain period of time. But so far, there is no proper statement whether this is the kind of rule that has been followed in the past.
Again, the story has become very political, understandably so, because at one end there's stone cold silence from Tejasvi Surya, who's refusing to accept what really went down on the airline. On the other account, the airline in question, Indigo, hasn't named viewers, and we must underline that it hasn't named Tejasvi Surya as the passenger on board who jeopardized other passenger security by opening the exit door for pure fun purposes. They haven't named him. They've said one passenger did so. The flight was deboarded and it took off after 3 hours. Eyewitness accounts, multiple eyewitness accounts have corroborated to suggest it was nobody else but Tejasvi Surya. So the question, Sagai, is highly political. Tejasvi Surya is a representative of South Bengaluru. When it comes down to his constituency, he's an MP where Lok Sabha is concerned. Lots of questions that arise at the capability of a member of parliament who could actually open the exit door just purely for fun is what is being alleged and reported. The story has also taken a political turn. What are you picking up? The AIMIM has jumped in. The Congress, DK Sivakumar has tweeted a short while ago. The story will become political. Just stay with me, Sagai. I'm cutting across to Majid Memon as well. Mr. Memon, your first reactions. Till now, of course, the DGCA or the airline has not named Tejasvi Surya, but eyewitness account seems to suggest it was him.
Well, I think, the rules are to be followed by anyone, whether he is a member of parliament or a minister or belonging to any political party, any person from any area of the society. You see, he has to, and particularly the security measures like emergency exits, etc. You see, if you remember that when in every aircraft there are instructions being given, especially and specifically and particularly to those who are occupying the chairs at the emergency exit, that the air hostess would come and she is duty bound to warn them about the manner in which the protection is to be taken with regard to nearness from the emergency exit. And if anybody violates it, definitely this is something serious. I would not, even if my man does it, then certainly it's wrong if he has done it. But then the facts will have to be ascertained as to whether what precisely happened.
All right, Mr. Memon, appreciate you joining us. Mr. Memon from the TMC. Like I said, viewers, it's become very political. The TMC has tweeted out the Congress is slamming Tejasvi Surya. The AIMIM has also jumped in. But importantly, Sagai, I'll ask you one quick question. It's going to take a massive political turn in poll-bound Karnataka. 3 months from now, Karnataka goes into election. The Congress will make a political meal out of this.
Absolutely. And remember, this particular incident has happened, according to one of the eyewitnesses, is on December 10th. And now it has surfaced. And definitely the opposition party in the state of Karnataka, especially Congress, will cash in the situation. And they have already started to criticize him on social media. And probably we might get to see many of these politicians come out and take advantage of the situation and try to criticize him in open public.
All right, Saga, I appreciate you joining us, viewers. That's the big news that we're tracking very closely. Tejasvi Surya, the MP on the 10th of December, allegedly was sitting right next to the emergency exit of an Indigo airline. And he allegedly, once again, yes, he allegedly opened the exit door for fun. And no word coming in from Tejasvi Surya, no word coming in from the airline in question, Indigo or the DGCA. These are multiple eyewitness accounts which seem to corroborate the same. The Passengers were deboarded. The flight took off after 3 hours. Many questions being raised as somebody who's a member of parliament representing a constituency in Bengaluru could actually open the exit door for fun. Trust India today, we're going to keep asking the questions, especially from Mr. Tejasvi Surya himself, because if he wasn't the person in question, he needs to come out and quickly clarify the same. With that, I want to quickly shift focus to the other big political developing story that we're tracking very closely, and that is the Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid out the blueprint for 2024 for the Bharatiya Janata Party cadre at the National Executive. The biggest news coming in from the National Executive today is the extension that has been given to Mr. JP Nadda until next year post the general elections. So one thing is clear, that the BJP will fight 2024 under the presidency of the Bharatiya Janata Party of Mr. JP Nadda. The two-day National Executive meeting concluded with the Prime Minister Modi's big message to its cadre. The Prime Minister in the meeting of the National Executive gave directions to strengthen the organization in villages near the borders and strengthen the booth to create new workers as well.
एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत इस संकल्प को दोहराते हुए हमारे सारे राज्य एक दूसरे के साथ समन्वय करें, एक दूसरे के भाषा को, कल्चर को हम किस प्रकार से अपनाएं, किस प्रकार से उसके साथ हम लोग एक भावनात्मक रूप से जुड़े, इसके भी कार्यक्रम हो। जिस प्रकार से काशी में तमिल संगमम हुआ, उसी प्रकार से हम लोग अलग अलग भाषाओं को साथ में लेकर इस भारत को एक भारत के रूप में कैसे तैयार करें, ये भी बात उन्होंने हम सबके सामने रखी।
And viewers, like I pointed out in its biggest political announcement of the National Executive, the BJP appointed Mr. JP Nadda as the president. An extension, of course, was given to him. He is currently the president of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Mr. Nadda will remain as the BJP chief till June 2024, which effectively means that the BJP will fight the general elections 2024 under his leadership as president. The announcement was made by Home Minister Amit Shah on day 2 of the National Executive. The decision is being seen as part of BJP's strategy for an election year, where 9 states will go to polls, keeping in mind the Lok Sabha election slated next. Amit Shah said the party has had the highest strike rate under Mr. Nadda, who led the BJP to win key state elections, and that it was Rajnath Singh who had proposed the extension of Mr. JP Nadda.
कई बार भूतकाल में भी इस प्रकार के अलग अलग मौकों के कारण राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष के कार्यकाल को एक्सटेंशन दिया गया। इसी परंपरा का अनुसरण करते हुए श्री जगत प्रकाश नड्डा जी को राष्ट्रीय कार्यकारिणी ने आज सर्वानुमत प्रस्ताव किया है। श्री राजनाथ सिंह जी ने इस प्रस्ताव को रखा और सभी भारतीय जनता पार्टी के सदस्यों ने इसको हर्ष ध्वनि के साथ सर्वानुमत से स्वीकार किया है कि जगत प्रकाश नड्डा जी को जून 2024 तक भारतीय जनता पार्टी के अध्यक्ष के रूप में इनके कार्यकाल को बढ़ोतरी की जाए।
Connecting to our consulting editor, Rahul Srivastav, who's joining me live with the very latest. Rahul, expected announcement. It was expected that Mr. JP Nadda would be given an extension. What's also interesting in all of this is, while so much deliberation on Mr. Kharge's appointment over election selection, not much here. Quite clear.
Yes, Preeti, because the basic idea that Mr. Nadda will be given an extension, the decision was taken earlier at other levels, that is the parliamentary board and others. So basically it is largely an extension decision which has been taken. And remember that even if there is an election exercise, the decision to give an extension has been taken largely because the membership list and the membership drive and several other exercises for which all the state committees and everything needs to be in place through a due election process are not in place. And that is why this extension. But yes, I think it's more of a working relationship which has been created, because I think Mr. Amit Shah and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have settled in terms of working equations with JP Nadda. And I think it's brought them dividends. If one looks at it, the manner in which Nadda has carried out the exercise of running the party, while Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the face and Amit Shah is the strategist. I think the one of the biggest stories also in this meet is what the Prime Minister has said. I think the Prime Minister definitely has given a call that is just 400 days left for 2024 elections. I think that's a clear message for all the party cadres to sit up, take note, and start working for 2024. But I think there is also a tone that the Prime Minister has set in reaction to the Bharat Jodo Yatra and the criticism that the BJP and the Prime Minister have been facing for what is being called as exclusivist policies in terms of alienating segments of the society. And I think if you see what the Prime Minister said repeatedly, that this is perhaps the best opportunity for India and the BJP to work harder as far as the nation and the Vikas, the growth story is concerned. But also he has said that everybody should work, that more and more segments join us, irrespective of the demand for votes and elections. I think that's one very, very strong statement the Prime Minister made to counter the charge that was being made against him and his party.
Appreciate you joining us, Rahul. We're going to continue to come back for more. And it's for no reason that the Bharatiya Janata Party is called the best election machine, or with the best election machinery in its arsenal going ahead. 9 states go into elections this year. Litmus test for Mr. Nadda as well, as the BJP builds up to the big general elections in 2024. Most political analysts already given the pole position to the BJP when it comes down to 2024, even though it's still a year away. With that, a quick break. To stay with us. On the other side is our fact check segment.
It's 2023, and India remains the sole shining star in the global economy. So what lies ahead as the Modi government prepares its last full budget before the 2024 general elections? Join the biggest names in business journalism, decoding the jargon with the biggest newsmakers. From the most credible, in-depth analysis of Budget 2023, tune in for Modinomics 2023 through the month. Only on India Today and Business Today Television, gold standard of business journalism.
The Ukrainians seem to be pushing back against the Russian army, but we're also seeing the Russian army now being armed with Iranian drones, which seem to be having a devastating effect, and the level of war crime seems to be increasing. What's your sense of how the Russia-Ukraine war plays out through this year?
I mean, the smart money, I think, is on things continuing as they are in a rough stalemate. What is very clear to me is that the Ukrainians are not going to give up. They've gone all in on losing whatever they have to lose to win the war. They have so far rejected any notion of peace talks, in part because they feel like they're in a position of strength. They have momentum. So that's their side of things. On their end, they need Western supplies of weapons, more advanced weapons. Recently, they've just gotten a delivery of tanks from the UK. They've asked for more higher level artillery, stuffed rockets that reach further into Russian territory. That's the kind of stuff they want moving forward. On Russia's end, who knows? I mean, we're essentially talking about the mindset of one person and what he wants out of this. At some point, you've got to wonder that he thinks that he's gotten something that he can declare as a victory, that he can make seem as a victory. We don't know what that is exactly. We've begun to hear rumblings that the Russians might want to talk at some point, but this only works if both sides want to talk. So we need the Russians to need it as much as the Ukrainians do. We're not there yet.
We're also seeing NATO countries offer arms to Ukraine, which was so far off the table. Increasingly, tanks being given, which earlier was seen as NATO being dragged more deep into the conflict, which NATO was trying to avoid. How high, according to you, is the probability of the conflict escalating this year?
It's fairly high. It's as high as it was even last year. I mean, there's still the imminent risk of Russians using a tactical nuclear device, of them feeling like their backs to the wall in a certain part of territory that they've occupied. We know that they have chemical and biological weapons that they may choose to use, as they have, by the way, in places like Syria. So in a sense, nothing is really off the table. Putin doesn't want us to think otherwise, because he wants to use those things as a deterrent. So there's a high degree of possibility of things escalating. And that, by the way, is the reason why the West isn't more involved than it is. The reason why the US doesn't formally have boots on the ground is exactly that reason. They want to prevent a larger escalation. That is Putin's trump card, in a way. He needs this to be as isolated as it possibly can be.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
All right, viewers, with that, quickly to our fact-check segment, where we bust certain claims masquerading to be facts on social media platforms and WhatsApp groups. Now, there is a claim floating about suggesting that this particular video was recorded minutes before the crash of Yeti Airlines in Nepal. Incorrect. This video, viewers, took place in Moscow, nothing to do with what happened in Nepal. It's a video from an airline crash in Moscow. With that, a quick break to stay with us. On the other side is To the Point. Priyanka Gandhi in Karnataka delivering the second wave of promises, but enough controversy, Mr. Shivakumar, that's been generated at the back of Nike, the entire event. The BJP now has said that the Congress paid the women 2,000 rupees to come and attend the event for women.
I think BJP is miffed with all this dirty issue planning. I think whatever we have promised, we will deliver, number one, because of the price rise. Any event, why we need to pay? We have assured the people of Karnataka that we are going to pay when we form a government. We have confidence. The people of this state are suffering because of the price rise. That is why we have taken this stand. Why BJP has to worry? They have an opportunity. They had an opportunity. No. In the national level, what they promised, 15 lakh rupees per every account, they could not deliver. Double the income of every common man, they could not do it. 3.5 years they had a government here in Karnataka, they could not do anything. What can they do now? They are trying to make out a controversy, tell out something, let them do, it is their job.
But, you know, what they're raising, Mr. Shivakumar, is that you went, which is the Congress, which was again spearheaded by Priyanka Gandhi, went to Uttar Pradesh with Ladki Hoon Lad Sakti Hoon, which was once again a campaign aimed at the women of UP. You came back with 2 seats. So therefore, they are comparing a similar campaign, which is the Na Naiki campaign, to a Nalayak campaign in Karnataka. That is what the BJP says.
No, at least they are very much serious about us. They are afraid of us. They are trying to comment. It is their duty, let them do. We are at least bother about what they do and all. We want to deliver what we have promised. We know the suffering of the people. You know the price rise. You know the diesel. You know the petrol. You know the gas. You know the cooking oil. You know all the vegetables, even the milk and everything. Every common man with this GST and demonetization, even a common man can't build his house. All the prices are very high. All these things are going on. So we want to give a solution.
But this solution, Mr. Shivakumar, is said to be
what?
an old...
Right. Na-naiki. We want to...
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
As a Na-naiki program is a program for women. Na-naiki is a program which we wanted to tell that every woman is a leader. She is a leader himself. That is what Indira Gandhi gave her the strength. It is what at the UPA we gave the strength. And tomorrow also, earlier also in the Congress regime, when Krishnaji was the Chief Minister, we gave this Shri Shakti program, empowering women. Lakhs of societies were being formed. We empowered the women. It is a great model in the country now. When Indira Gandhi was there, she wanted these small children, this Anganwadi started. Then at the time of Manmohan Singh, various constitution amendments was being done to protect the women rights. That is why we are protecting women. The woman is there where there is no caste, creed and everything. 50% of the population. Is it not a duty of any political party to see that we help all of them?
Co-powered by Samsonite. Tested like Samsonite. Volkswagen Tiguan, India's safest SUVW.
Good evening, viewers. You're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. Well, it is the government versus the Supreme Court once again, which has also opened another front for government versus the opposition. The reason being, well, a letter written by the Law Minister Kiran Rijiju to the Chief Justice of India, Mr. Chandrachud. Why? Here's more.